0079 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning. Good morning, freedom fighters. I was farther away from the mic than I thought I was. Sorry. Good morning, freedom fighters. Good morning, Kenny Williams.
Morning, Vic.
Hey, 4-day week. We're off tomorrow. We're not coming in. Not doing
You're
it.
not?
Nope.
I guess I won't then either.
Yeah, no, don't bother.
Okay.
Just stay home.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. All right, big.
Won't argue with you.
July 3rd, 3rd of July, 4th of July. That's funny. It's the only time we say a date that way, the 4th of July.
Right.
We never say it's the 3rd of July. It's the 29th of July.
You know what I've been saying a lot when I say goodbye to people, and for the weekend, I say, Happy Independence Day this year.
Oh.
I haven't normally said that. I usually say, hey, have a happy 4th, but it seems to be more impactful for me
Yeah.
when I say Happy Independence Day.
I think today, too, is a good day to say Happy No King's Day.
Yes.
Because it's the real No King's Day.
Right. Happy No King's Day, everybody, this weekend.
King George III, I think. All right, Karen Kataline's scratching her head right now saying, what are these two idiots talking about? And we'll talk to her in just a bit. Miller time. Is that too early to drink? 9:25?
Nope. Nope.
Okay. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I know that on a float trip you can drink that early.
Hey, Nate Lucas, I've got an idea I'm going to give Nate to give to Representative Burlison.
Yeah.
And it relates to something that we said yesterday. Okay?
All right.
Dan Schneider, Vice President of MRC Free Speech America. We need him more than ever. That's coming up at 10:41. Tyler Gray's always great. We'll talk to him. Chat box with audio clips. Ken, who leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance today?
Well, today, since we are heading into Independence Day weekend, Vic,
Yes.
I thought Donald Trump would be a great one, and he's with the J6 prisoners. This is kind of a mesh together.
This is a knock it out of the park Pledge of Allegiance / national anthem.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The one and only Karen Kataline.
Did you know that I'm married to a trucker? I feel like using a Yiddish word, famished. Spoiling in front of my computer, I am. They're just too dumb to lie. He has the effect of 6 shots of scotch.
Good
In Italy, there's no such thing as an all-you-can-eat buffet. That's just the way it is. And I walked into this little mom-and-pop Italian restaurant, and I said, feed me, I'm hungry, in Italian. It's sono affamato. I can say it in 27 languages. I can write it in hieroglyphics if I have to. And I said to them, can we order? And they said, no, first we're going to bring out some food. This will be my new home.
When the guy says we're going to bring out some food, he's wiping away the tears because he's so happy.
It's wonderful.
God, he was so great. And
he died way too soon.
Yeah. I wish I found out about him earlier in life. I think I found out about him after he
Many
was dead
of us
somehow.
do. There's one other one, if I may.
Yeah.
When he does so many good accents, and he does something about Japanese sushi.
Mm.
And he goes, he had this thing around the world in 80 buffets. And so
I've seen that.
the Japanese guy sees him and he goes, "Yo,
Yeah.
bigger boy,
Yeah.
you're so big. Why do you eat so much? Eat more vegetables.
Eat more vegetables." So
He's
funny.
so
Bigger boy.
Yeah, bigger boy. But he does
So-
it with a really low voice.
That's great, Karen.
Wonderful.
That's good stuff.
Wonderful.
All right. So a couple of things I have to tell you about here. One is a change in this show, and you're a big inspiration to that.
Oh.
I've decided that on this show, if anybody is going to use the phrase anti-Semitism or anti-Semite, I'm going to stop them and say, "I'm sorry, it's Jew hater." Okay? Because anti-Semitism just is not a strong enough phrase or word, you know?
You're right. And there are people that like to mince words, and they say, well, Jews and Arabs are so close, they're all Semites. Well, technically that's true. But it kind of is beside the point with what's happening now, because the radical left paints Arabs as victims. Even when there's a terrorist event, they say, we better guard against Islamophobia. And Jews, they never think of as victims ever, 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 ever. And I hate having to qualify this. Many good Muslims, many of them, the best ones are the ones that speak out against this kind of injustice against Jews and all other people as being painted with one broad brush and demonizing them with bigotry. You know, not anything the left has been talking about for decades upon decades.
Well, you know,
and then going and doing the opposite. Yes.
You know, that conversation we were having about being unapologetically on the offense. And this kind of goes into that, because Vic and I were talking. It's like, you know, anti-Semitism, that's just another way of saying racism, and Jew hater. And then Vic's like, Jew hater. Yeah, this is what we're doing. And so that's what happened.
It's very scary to be living in my beloved America and watching this happen in America. I believe that was one of the reasons why there was so much outrageously infiltration of unfettered immigration. 20 million people, many of them came to this country wishing harm to people. And the Iranians have been funding the strong attempt in this country to make Jew hatred, thank you, Vic, totally acceptable now. And there are such gullible people still, by the same people that have lied and lied and lied to them. And now suddenly that used to be socially unacceptable to be a Jew hater.
Exactly.
But not anymore. This is what they wanted, to turn America against Israel and the Jewish people. If you talk to evangelical Christians, they'll tell you that's the curse of death to America when they turn against their Jews.
So we started doing that
Scary.
a couple of days ago. And this girl named Tanya on X, she is Tanya AN, and she's not particularly political. I mean, she says she's a proud Jew and Zionist in her profile, but she's an artist, designer, writer, and poet. Really, that's what she does. And she sent me a note on X, public one, that said, "Vic, I appreciate your use of Jew hater instead of the inadequate, misleading, and dismissive anti-Semitism. Thank you." So we hit a chord with her, at least. So that was good.
That's good. But they've even demonized the word Zionist, and that was because they wanted to cover their Jew hatred. Zionist means nothing more than being supportive of the state of Israel. It's like saying I'm a Ukrainianist, or whatever.
Ukrainianist.
and that's not an evil thing. But I've had fairly educated people ask me, well, what does Zionist mean? I said, it means you support the state of Israel. Doesn't mean that you're living there and that you're an Israeli. It means you're an American or you're from any country that supports Israel and its right to exist. Oh my God, terrible.
So I also was kind of proud of Drew Thomas Allen, guy we have on every Tuesday.
Love him. He's great.
Actually, Dr. Naomi Wolf, who I know you love.
I used to.
Oh, Sorry.
What'd she do now?
No, she just retweeted, actually answered him, and I thought that was kind of cool that she answered him.
Good.
Yeah, so I like Drew.
Good.
I think Drew
No,
is
no.
unapologetic about everything he says.
Yes, he is. You know that guy, I don't know his name, the comic on Gutfeld who wears that giant Jewish star?
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but he's basically saying, I'm a Jew. You want to make something of it?
And I love that.
Right.
And he is
I
so
love it.
funny. My God, that guy is so funny.
There's another woman who does that. And she's very, very bright. I hate to not know who she is. They parade so many people across there. She wears a big Jewish star too. So that's a good thing. It's like, okay, you're wearing a cross. We're a Jewish star.
It's a great thing.
It's like,
all right. So another thing that's just, whenever whatever's going on in the world, you go into social media and all the experts, right? It was COVID. They were all medical experts, and then they were all vaccine experts. Then they were all military experts. All the same people, right? Who are a barber or a baker, And so now the new thing is that alligator Alcatraz is alligator Auschwitz.
Oh God, you're kidding.
No, seriously.
I have not heard that.
That's
just
so
despicable.
Of course,
that's
it
despicable.
Is. These are the worst people in the world.
This is horrible for the alligators, or for the criminals, or for both. And
So I just wanted to let you know there's some idiots out there that are experts.
Horrible. And
somebody said,
that's the first time I heard it.
Somebody said yesterday that, let's look at this plainly. Auschwitz didn't have air conditioning and laundry and bathrooms. You know what I mean? Plus, the Jews were all innocent people. These are the worst people in the world.
They weren't criminals. But see, to hear a Jew hater tell it, just by virtue of your birth, being born a Jew, you're somehow a criminal, which is the very height of bigotry, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Hello, Whoopi Goldberg,
with
the last name of Goldberg. I don't know why. People are just ignorant and maybe evil. There's my friend who says people are either stupid, crazy, or evil, or a combination thereof.
Yes. And sometimes I think it is a combination of all the above.
Yeah.
All right. So the big, beautiful bill. It's big. It's beautiful. It's big, beautiful bill. They talked all night last night. Still nothing done. What's your take on all this?
Well, I've been watching a couple people in particular, namely Lauren Boebert, who campaigned on being MAGA, and campaigned on being an outsider. She's been bought. I don't know. I'm watching to see if she'll vote. We're cautiously optimistic that it'll go through. There's an awful lot of things that I think, but again, you wind me up and I go, and so I'm not going to talk. I mean, that's what I do. It bothers me that there's such purists in the world who basically enable Democrats. Now, I understand the libertarian point of view to many extents, but if you're going to fix the nightmare that President Otto Penn left us and left Donald Trump, you're going to need some money. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the problem. So, Trump is smart enough to know that's what they do. They decimate our military. They decimate the country. And then they enlist these ignorant purists like Massey to come in and say, whoa, we don't want to spend any money. It might get corrupted. Well, you're just enabling Democrats to keep what they created and never be able to reverse it. It takes money to reverse it. And I'm very much a limited government, of
course,
live within your means conservative. But these are extraordinary times where we have a communist Muslim who hates Jews. Is he a Jew hater?
He's a Jew hater.
Running for mayor of New York.
Yep.
I have friends in New York still. It is amazing.
I don't believe, I think I've said this to you a long time ago. How can any Jew not vote for a conservative guy and do vote for somebody like Mamdani? Mamdani, thanks.
Yeah.
I hate saying his name right.
Well, it's hard to convert Jews. Thank God we know that. We don't want them to convert to any other religion. But, it's our cross to bear, I always say.
Yep.
that there are segments of Jews who are so detached from their Judaism. Never mind that, God forbid, they started rounding up Jews as they did in 1938. They would be rounded up too, no matter how many pro-Palestinian rallies they went to.
Right.
But they don't understand that because they're alienated from who they are as a Jew. And that doesn't mean you got to be an Orthodox Jew or anything else, but not to appreciate the richness of our heritage, the richness of the ideas that inspired Western civilization, is to fall prey to exactly the kind of tyranny that Jews have been on the receiving end of first as canaries in the mine shaft. Did I do that succinctly? I hope.
It was good. Succinct, I don't think, but it was good. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So listen.
Listen, I cop to that,
That's all right.
I do.
I want to leave you with, my love of editorial cartoons, right? And Gary Varvel is one of my faves. And he wrote one the other day. It's got Donnie with a microphone, and he's singing his version of New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city where there's no peace, where billionaires don't exist because they pay everyone's lease. In my socialized dreams, the rich are going to pay. Tax the white neighborhoods in Marxist New York. If I can tax them there, I can tax them everywhere. It's up to you. New York.
New York.
All right, that's it. Hey, have a great 4th of July.
Loved your Independence Day. Happy Independence Day to everyone.
Thank you.
A great day to celebrate. Great day to celebrate America.
What did you love?
Independence Day.
Oh, I thought you... Okay.
Freedom.
Okay.
Liberty.
I want to hear all the things we're doing great here. I am a Jew in training. Give me a break, okay? Hey,
I'm a redneck in training.
Love it. Love it. All right. So have a great Independence Day. Have a great weekend. And we shall talk on Monday.
You betcha.
All right. Take care, Gary Kataline. She's too much. She's too much. So Ken says it's okay. It's 9:23 on a Thursday morning, but we're going to do Miller time anyway.
Oh, yeah.
That's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Number one for live and local conservative talk. I love this. Turn this up.
Back again. Coming to America. Home. Don't it seem so far away?
Whoosh.
We're traveling light today. In the eye of the storm. In the eye of the storm.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Live and be well.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
So I was driving home yesterday, and I hear the promo for Chris Cooper's radio show on Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock, which is actually called Serenity Wealth Now.
Right, but it's fun with finance, we know.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. So he's talking about, this is exactly what I mean, why Chris Cooper is the only person you should talk to about wealth management. Because the promo, we call them promos, for his show on Sunday was all about keeping your dog safe and not scared from the loud fireworks.
Well, that's important in finance.
And it touched my heart, right?
Right.
So it's better than walking into a place, and like Lurch comes to the front door.
Ring.
Sit down. It's not. It's better to get into it easily. And how cool is it that he's worried about my dogs?
Yeah.
Your dogs.
Oh, yeah.
There he is. There's Rudy. You sure he wasn't drawn by Nick Park?
No, he's okay. He's real. I see him every day.
Okay. And your dogs, I'm sure if you have dogs, some of them freak out, some of them don't care. What's your situation?
Oh, they're fine.
Both?
Yeah, as long as as long as we're there, they don't care.
Yeah. Chino just shakes. Sally gets a little concerned. She'll jump up on the couch and sit behind me. And I don't think Phantom can hear them anymore.
Right.
Because he's, his hearing's going, his sight is going. Not bad at pinball, though.
Oh, good.
That was a Tommy joke.
Yeah, I know.
You hate me. Why do you hate me? All right. Get Chris's new book. It's called The New Holistic Retirement. Get it at SerenityNowTax.com. That's SerenityNowTax.com. Serenity Now! Let's go.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
Serenity Now!
This is so stupid.
St. Louis's
Okay, I'm hanging up on you now.
place to talk. News Talk STL. It's JC's Wayback Machine.
This week, it's our 4th of July holiday special. 3 big hours of songs about the good old US of A, plus comedy and fireworks fun.
So you're going to tell me you don't have one single whistling kitty chaser?
Presented by the Weber Automotive Group.
Be safe this 4th of July. Try not to lose any fingers. Look, I can count to 8. Whoa, 7.
It's our 3-hour 4th of July holiday special.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9. News Talk STL.
Beat the summer heat with Johnson Heating and Cooling, your trusted local family business. We specialize in residential air conditioning service, furnace and AC replacement, new construction, finished basements, room additions, and energy-efficient geothermal systems. At Johnson Heating and Cooling, our motto is simple. We treat our customers like we want to be treated, with complete transparency and honesty. Call 636-332-4141. That's 636-332-4141.
Planning your next adventure? Head to Landell EE Clothing Store in Wentzville and gear up for less. Whether you're hitting the beach or the slopes, we've got you covered at prices that won't break the bank. Find us at 12680 Veterans Memorial Parkway, just west of Highway A off I-70. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Landell EE, where adventure meets affordability. Stop by today and discover the bargains waiting for you.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
It is awesome.
And listen anytime.
Love the News Talk STL app.
Anywhere. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Remember, they're coming after me because I'm standing up for you.
On News Talk STL.
I want to hear it all. Acquaintance, the forgot. Grand old flag. I love that song.
Yes,
I
great.
love it. That's enough. We can't go 2 verses. We'll get yelled at for that. Okay. Welcome to our Thursday edition here on a very short week. And this is the best short week when we can take off tomorrow and celebrate our country, America.
It is.
And I think we all should somehow do that, you know? I mean, I think you know that Ken and I are big fans of veterans, right?
Right.
So if you're out at Quick Trip or something and you're getting coffee or whatever, and I'll just tell you what happened to me. I was at a Quick Trip, and I think it was Veterans Day, actually. And this guy with the cap on had Vietnam veteran on his cap. And I'm getting coffee, and I notice him. And I said, and I want to pay for that guy's coffee. And the girl goes, what size? I'm like, okay, how about the biggest possible size you have?
Yeah.
The vat of coffee, please. So I just paid for the large coffee and then split. And I think that's the best way to do it because they were like, oh my God, somebody that I don't even know or who I don't even know who did this.
It's got to be a good feeling for
right?
them, yeah.
And that's what they should get. All right, back to business here. Stop screwing around, Ken. Stop it.
You.
Not me.
Mister.
All right, so it's 9:20, 30. It's 9:30. And Ken says it's never too early for Miller time.
Welcome to Miller time. It's Miller time. Miller time. Miller time.
Ken, that is one of the best things you've ever done.
Oh, thanks, man.
Is that Miller time open, because I hope people realize that you put a note that was in the beginning of the song next to a note that's at the end of the song. I don't know how to explain it, but it's masterpiece.
Thanks, dude.
All right, let's Stephen Miller, Assistant Chief of Staff for President Trump, And Ken, how long do you think that Stephen Miller has been a conservative? Long time, you think?
Oh, I'd say for a couple of years anyway.
Let's find out. Ken, give me a Miller.
Miller time.
I've spent my entire life in the conservative movement. Since I was a kid in high school, working, dreaming of the day where we could have a piece of legislation like what exists right now, what President Trump has brought to the precipice of passage. Each and every one of the individual titles in this bill would be considered one of the great achievements in the history of the conservative movement. The title, for example, building the missile defense shield for the United States of America so we can be safe, our children can be safe from foreign adversaries in this growing era of intercontinental ballistic missiles as nations race for supremacy.
I kind of pictured him as a kid in high school looking like that.
Yeah, no kidding. Talking like to the class, right? At the beginning of the day. He probably just got finished doing the Pledge of Allegiance because the flag's right there,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Too funny. So as we learned, he has been a conservative his whole life. I'm shocked to hear that.
Totally shocked.
All right, let's get right back into another. I don't want to waste any time. Border security and the big, beautiful bill. It's big, it's beautiful. It's a big, beautiful bill.
The section on this bill enshrining border and homeland security, this is the most far-reaching border security proposal, homeland security proposal in my lifetime. Not just my lifetime, going back to Eisenhower, going back to since we've had conversations about the border. I take this seriously. I've stood by the families whose kids have been murdered by illegal aliens. We made them a promise. Most importantly, the American people voted to fulfill that promise in the last election. This bill fulfills it.
That was good.
Yeah, I know. And this bill, I'm coming around, okay? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. They may have gone over their skis a little bit trying to get all of this through. But you know, there's time down the road to take care of the other things. And the people who have tried to, you know, convince me have convinced me. I'm all for it.
They're looking ahead, Ken. There's a piece of audio we'll play for you later that in maybe 10 years, England will be under Sharia law.
Yeah.
What is that going to look like?
Well,
what's the royal family going to look like?
They already have in the UK right now. They already have Sharia courts.
Oh my God. Isn't it? Can't we say no? Don't do that.
Well, you can, but in the UK, what they're trying to do is call you a racist and call you an Islamophobe if you go against anything that they put in place.
All right, let's talk about the little guy here a little bit. Stephen Miller talking about no tax on tips. Ken, give me a Miller.
Miller time.
It is the largest tax cut and reform in American history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, 100% expensing for new factories. Think about that. Every single business owner with a dream of manufacturing in America can deduct 100% of that cost to make the American dream come true here in the United States.
When you wait tables, when you drive for Uber or Lyft, or if you do the Instacart or Ship thing, you get paid very little money.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, I did Shipped. You know, when you can do a shop, let's say $100 shop, about 20 items, they'll pay you $6.
Right.
And then you have to count on the tips from the people.
Right. You went through all that for years while you were doing this show.
Yeah. And, you know, $6 an hour ain't going to cut it, you know?
No.
But people make more than that. They can make $25, $30 an hour if you shop smart, you know. I always put the eggs and the bread in a paper bag, and I take a big marker and put eggs on the back of the bag.
Right.
The women love that. Oh, look, he's so nice. He put eggs on the back. But the point is paying tax on the tips is devastating to these people.
And then the Democrats, how disgusting they are, because they continue to say that this is for the billionaires. All this is for the billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Well, number one, tax on tips is not, tax on overtime is not for the billionaires. But the other thing is, Vic, in a capitalistic society, the owners of the companies that employ all of the people,
mm-hmm.
they have to have benefits as well. They have to, in order for everybody else to make money, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
Well, what they're saying is, we'll see what they're doing. They're giving cuts to those corporation owners. Well, the corporations, I mean.
I'll tell you something. You think you know it all?
Yeah.
Okay. You think you're smart?
Not at all.
We ordered DoorDash the other night, and Larry Kudlow brought the food to the door. How about that?
Okay. Well, I don't even know what to say about that.
Because the only reason he's doing tax on tips for his billionaire buddies.
That's true.
So I had to tip one of Trump's billionaire buddies, Larry
I stand
Kudlow.
corrected, Vic.
They're so stupid, Ken. They're so stupid. I mean, they talk. All right, let's finish this.
Okay.
Because I'm still thirsty and I want to
seem
hear.
like you're parched.
I am parched. Let's talk a little more about the most conservative bill in American history. Ken, give me a Miller.
Miller time.
Here's another one for you. The largest welfare reform in American history. Work requirements on food stamps, work requirements on Medicaid, the two largest welfare programs that exist. And now we are attaching work requirements to those programs. Orders of magnitude larger than the welfare reform that Republicans enacted into law in the 1990s. I am sick and tired of the lies about this bill that have been perpetrated by opportunists who are trying to make a name for themselves. This is the most conservative bill in my lifetime. Tax cuts, defense, border security, homeland security, welfare reform, and the largest spending cut in one bill that has ever been enacted. Let's work together. Let's pass this bill. Let's get it to President Trump's desk by July 4th.
All right, look, I agree with all that, of course. If you listen to this show on the radio, God bless you. Thank you so much. But when you get home, you should go home and watch the stream, right? We're on Rumble, Facebook, Instagram now?
Instagram, X, YouTube. We're still on YouTube, I think, too. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
And Ken found this cartoon characterization of Stephen Miller. And I swear to God, if you look at it and just concentrate on his mouth, it looks like the cartoon is saying what we're playing.
Right.
And it's just the best. All right, that's all the time we have for Miller Time.
Miller time. Miller time.
Plus, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to mention, it's all about Stephen Miller, and Ken puts a Steve Miller music bed together for it.
Miller time.
You are very good, you.
Thanks, dude.
Okay, when we get back, Ken, I want to talk about, because people don't understand a few things. Tax cuts, Medicare. Oh, I got to hurry up so we can listen to Grandma Fleck. In the big, beautiful bill. It's big, it's beautiful. It's a big, beautiful bill. And tomorrow's all the fireworks. I think we need to practice, you and I, for watching fireworks.
Yes.
So we'll do that, too, when we get back. At 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Every heart beats true under red, white, and blue, where there's never a boost or brag. But should all the great times be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
I wouldn't sell my bike for all the money in the world.
If they have to pay out $159,000 billion.
Not for $100 billion, million, trillion dollars.
Over $1 billion, $300 million, trillion, $300 million.
You're crazy. I know you are, but what am I?
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
And Funny Bones, huh?
Columbo and Company.
Getting you ready for the 4th of July weekend on Thursday. We'll discuss the latest local news with Missouri Rep. Justin Sparks at 2:20 and Dr. Randy Tobler at 3:05.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Reed's Rockets in Wright City has your fireworks. Try the Max 800 shot for a 30-minute show. Want the ultimate American celebration? Get This Is America with over 100 gigantic color bursts. Family owned and operated, Reed's caters for families with the biggest kid selection. Spend $100 or more and get a kids assortment free. Reed's Rockets, 425 West Service Road North in Wright City. Take I-70 exit 199 and look for the big red and white striped tent. Open through July 10th. ReedsRockets.com.
Reed's Rockets in Wright City has your fireworks. Try the Max 800 shot for a 30-minute show. Want the ultimate American celebration? Get This Is America with over 100 gigantic color bursts. Family owned and operated, Reed's caters to families with the biggest kid selection. Spend $100 or more and get a kids assortment free. Reed's Rockets, 425 West Service Road North in Wright City. Take I-70 exit 199 and look for the big red and white striped tent. Open through July 10th. ReedsRockets.com.
Simply Health with Dr. Brian Deloney.
I am extremely excited about this episode because we're going to be talking with my pastor, somebody who I really look up to and who's really helped me in a lot of ways. You know, some of you might be wondering, well, what does your pastor have to do with, looking at holistic health? And the truth of the matter is, when it comes to healing, all healing comes from one place, and that's from our Father above. And so understanding and connecting with that is truly important.
Simply Health, Saturdays at noon on NewstalkSTL.
Hey, NewstalkSTL listeners, this is Levi, CEO of Reach Reproductive Health. There was a huge gap left when the biggest pregnancy center in St. Louis had to close their doors right after Amendment 3. But by God's grace and power, Reach has been able to step into that space. We have acquired Thrive centers and are continuing operations in greater St. Louis. I have a request for you. Would you pray and consider getting to know Reach more? We are here to see babies saved and families transformed by the power of Christ. Get to know us on our Reach community website, outreachforlife.org. That's outreachforlife.org.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli, and my favorite sandwich from Capriati's is the Wagyu beef French dip. So good. It's the au jus that makes it. And the Wagyu beef is pretty good, too. I love Capriati's, and you will, too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
America, God shed His grace on thee.
On Newstalk STL.
And crown thy good.
This is Keb Mo.
Yeah.
Kevin Moore is his name. Keb Mo is his blues name. And I just looked it up to make sure. And my God, Keb Mo has gotten so old. I used to play his records on my blues show in 1982 in college radio.
The passion he has in this song is just great.
Did you ever hear Ray Charles?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry, Ken. I told you to do something, and then I screwed you up. I apologize for that.
All right.
But we can just
what happens, you know.
What happens?
Whatever.
Yeah, you can say it.
Whatever
That's
happens.
What happens when you have to work with an idiot.
Happens,
Is that what you're saying?
Whatever happens.
Whatever. Okay. So the big beautiful bill. It's big. It's beautiful. It's a big beautiful bill. Jamie Raskin. Well, what makes him any bigger of a liar than the rest of them? Because he stands out to me, just making stuff up. Hakeem Jeffries does.
I was just gonna, man, you're reading my mind, because he and Hakeem Jeffries are in both tied for the lead in being scumbag. They really are.
All right,
liars, just simple liars. And I want you to tell everybody what you said to me when we were getting ready, when we were doing a little show prep about Jamie Raskin and how little feeling he has for the people, his constituents.
Well, why don't we let him explain that himself? How's that?
Okay.
Here he is on CNN being asked about no tax on tips.
No taxes on tips, which is part of this bill for working people who work on a tipped wage. Do you support that?
I haven't looked seriously at it because I haven't thought they were serious about it.
Now, Ken, I'd like to analyze those few seconds of audio there by Jamie Raskin. Do you think he hasn't seriously looked at it?
I think he...
Think hard. Think like a terrorist.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
Okay. I think he has. but he can't say he's against tax for tips because he's going to piss off all his constituents who work on tips.
Okay, I can see that angle.
So I didn't read it. Neither's good. Don't get me wrong. Neither's good. Both bad.
Right.
Didn't read the bill. What are you kidding? That's the bill you're going to vote on, yes or no. I think he did read it, and he doesn't want to say, oh, no, screw those people. We're not voting on this bill. Screw you people who work for tips.
Yeah, there are two distinct points there, because if he didn't read it, he doesn't care about his constituents. But if he did, and he still voted no on it, that means he doesn't give a damn, which I'm sure he doesn't.
Gas prices. It's not where you want it to be, Ken. It's not at $1.81 at the Circle K and F, not yet.
But see, I accept that. You know why? Because when Joe Biden made those artificial gas prices go down, he tapped into our reserve. And what that did, it artificially made the gas prices go down very quickly before the election. It didn't help him, but he did that anyway. What Donald Trump is doing, he's putting infrastructure in place. He's getting businesses in line. And slowly, the gas prices are going to go down and stay down.
And that's what we need. So the left is like, no, gas prices aren't down. He sucks. So listen to this.
It's pretty good news for millions of drivers expecting to hit the road for the 4th of July.
Huh! That's all I want to say.
But notice also, real quick, out of all these people you're going to hear, not one time do they mention a certain person.
Go ahead.
July weekend.
It looks like gas prices are about to get cheaper.
Gas prices are currently the lowest that they've been since 2021.
They're the lowest since... Stop! Gas prices are as low as they've been since 2021. You mean when Joe Biden was president?
Became president.
God, go ahead.
2021, hitting a 4-year low.
This doesn't just apply locally. Trends are being seen nationwide,
including in Michigan, where it's about 42 cents cheaper to fill up than it was this time last year. Pennsylvania, Illinois, Nevada, a number of other states seeing significant drops.
Gas prices are much lower than we have seen in recent years.
$2.68 per gallon, or more than a dozen stations in Duval and St. Johns County.
The national average could fall below $3 as early as September.
This translates to Americans spending about $500 million less on gasoline this holiday weekend versus last.
What effect was that from, Vic? All this gas price lowering thing?
I believe it was the Trump effect.
I think it was too.
I didn't hear his name in there though.
No, I didn't hear it. But what I do on social media now is I'm really pushing this hashtag on X, and then I just say it on other social media. The Trump effect, and it only applies to things that have happened because of the Trump administration policies. The unfortunate thing here, Vic, is while we're going to be enjoying as gas prices continue to go down, Illinois, they are getting a tax increase. Their gas is going to go up majorly here.
I love you guys. I don't know how you live in Illinois. I just don't know. Come on over, man. Come on across the river and over the border. Come live with us.
We're going to try and get somebody from Illinois Policy Institute on next week.
They hate talking to me.
No, they don't. They do not. Illinois Policy Institute is very much in line with what we talk about.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk very quickly about Medicaid. I think, again, we can't fight the First Amendment. Don't want to fight the First Amendment. But when the mainstream media says, sorry, I thought you were standing there. When the mainstream media says cuts in Medicaid, they make it sound like somebody who absolutely qualifies for Medicaid is not going to get their benefit.
Right.
And that's just not true, Ken.
No.
It's people who don't qualify, like, oh, I don't know, illegal aliens.
Right.
How can you help somebody who's an illegal alien while there's a veteran living in the street? How?
I don't see how you can.
You can't.
And that's the one thing, that is the one item in this bill that upsets me. I mean, I know we can get to it, and I know that actually they're going to put other separate bills in place, including Rand Paul, I think, wants to do this, to say that an illegal alien cannot get any benefits from the American budget.
And that takes some spending out of the bill, and maybe Rand Paul will be okay with it then.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Or if they do it separately. I don't care. I don't care when they do it.
Yeah. All right. So, first of all, before I go any further, again, I invite you to watch the stream on. And by the way, if you are going to watch the stream, would it kill you to hit the like button?
Please do so.
And share with your friends, do us a favor. But Kamala has a new drinking buddy in our stream, because she was always been in our window there, and she's right at the bottom of the window because she can barely stand up, and she's drinking.
Yeah, I think I saw her stumble, and then Jasmine Crockett behind her picked
Jasmine,
her up.
Right.
She kind of went, here, I'll hold you up while I'm
But
drinking.
they're so good at drinking. She held her up and still had the bottle. She's still drinking from the bottle and holding up Kamala with the other hand.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
She learned that at MICDS.
I don't know, because everybody's like, they're sick of seeing Kamala there. So we just put Jasmine Crockett in there to keep her company.
And who knows, we may have someone else come in and join the party someday soon, too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Ken.
Yes.
I don't want to give too much of this away, because I want to bring this up with Nate in just a little while. Yesterday, I said to you, this was all under the umbrella of the Republicans in Congress and in Senate need to be more on the offense.
Yes.
Not just on the defense. And I said to you, they need to do a stunt. They need to do a stunt on the steps of the Capitol.
I remember that. Yes, you did.
So guess what the Democrats did yesterday?
What?
A stunt on the steps of the Capitol.
The problem with the Democrats is, though, they do so many of them that they just get diluted, like when they say the word racism all the time.
But
it just gets diluted. It's not that big of a deal then.
But do you see how predictable they are?
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, I said we have to do a stunt on the Capitol steps, and I'll be damned. Democrats did it.
Oh, yeah.
So I have an idea.
Okay.
I don't even think you know about this yet. For Nate to tell his, to tell his boss, Eric Burlison, and then Bob Onder and the rest of the people that are in Congress to do something. And, of course, the stunt yesterday was led by Hakeem Jeffries. And I was right. That's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to brag.
But you were right.
That I was right.
You were right, Vic.
Stunts on the steps of the Capitol building. So
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right about that.
Thank you, Susie Moore. Oh, by the way, Susie Moore's colleague, Bonchi.
Yeah.
We might have to do this now. But yeah, we got to do this now. There's no other free breaks. So Bonchi wrote an article about the WNBA. And I would like to read some of it to you.
Let's do. It's really a good article.
It's a great article. Okay. So the article is entitled, "The WNBA Somehow Manages to Get Even Worse." If you don't tune into the WNBA, you can count yourself among the vast majority of Americans. Okay, I'm in the minority, but I love Caitlin Clark and, all the girls on the Fever. The NBA's welfare league has been long a laughingstock, and for good reason. Namely because it produces some of the worst quality basketball on the planet at any given time. Just how bad are we talking? This happened during the 2024 WNBA Finals. It's a real mystery why they are paid like a manager at a fast food joint. Yet amid all that failure, Caitlin Clark has become the singular draw for the league that otherwise wouldn't even be on anyone's radar. So how have WNBA players reacted to the boost that they've been handed with Caitlin Clark coming into the league, right?
Yeah.
So by hating Clark with every fiber of their being, that's shown up on the court with flagrant attempts to hurt the league's only superstar, and now it's showing up in all-star voting. So Caitlin Clark got the most votes for the all-star game from any player in the history of the WNBA.
Okay.
This year, like 1.2 million. But here's the weird part, Ken. Her peers...
Right, the people she plays along with.
Voted her the 9th best guard in the league.
What a joke. What a joke.
In fact, she wasn't even voted the best guard on her team.
Now, see, that's the part I don't get.
Because Kelsey Mitchell, who is an awesome player, I love Kelsey Mitchell, is black. So it has to be a black girl that's in a better spot than Caitlin Clark is. That's just how the league operates.
They need to stop. They need to stop it.
Yesterday, we talked about the lady who is the coach of the Minnesota Lynx, who can't stand Caitlin Clark, didn't put her on the Olympic team and was proud of it.
Right.
J.C. Sheldon, who poked her in the eye. And then, of course, Sophie Cunningham came to the rescue and took care of J.C. And I heard I heard yesterday Sophie Cunningham saying, "Hey, I'm just sending out a message to the league. If you mess with Caitlin Clark, no, I got her back." You know?
Yeah.
She's one of the smart ones. Sophie Cunningham's one of the smart ones. Because they used to take buses from town to town, fly coach. Now, since Caitlin, they're flying first class, they're flying private, you know?
Yeah.
But yet it's like finding the lamp, you know, when Aladdin had the lamp and he rubbed the lamp and the genie came out.
Yeah.
That's like him taking it and throwing it right in the garbage.
Well, if there's another guard on the Fever that's better than Caitlin Clark, that's great. I don't care if she's black, white, whatever, purple. Okay, great. But it's just the whole idea that you've got to put somebody in place because of their skin color. They better watch out, because what I've heard rumor of, and you know this probably more than anybody, Caitlin Clark could head over to Europe and play, and they would be filling up stadiums for her.
They fill up stadiums for her here, Ken.
I know, but they won't be anymore. Not for the WNBA.
They'll come to see her. The people will come out to see her here or anywhere because she's that good.
Yeah.
So the point is, they can't get it through their heads that they are kicking a gift horse in the mouth, punching it. Anyway, a great article by Bonchi. I'm just glad he wrote it, because it is playing the hits, because it is racism and all that stuff.
It is, and they can't have a white girl being the representative of the WNBA, and it's sickening.
And that's why they beat her up all the time. I mean, she walks out with a different bruise every time she plays a game, because these girls just hate her. They hate the girl that is bringing the WNBA into a spotlight that they have never been in before.
Right.
Jason Whitlock, for God's sakes, from Outkick is talking about her almost every night, you know?
Exactly.
Bonchi on redstate.com is writing articles about her.
In professional baseball, we have a Japanese guy who's the leader of all of the most popular players, and we don't say a word.
Right. You're right. All right, Nate Lucas is next. Update on Cookiegate on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Whoosh.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Looking to celebrate the 4th of July with a bang? Then look no further than Powder Monkey Fireworks in Walden Springs. We've got bottle rockets, fountains, cakes, mortars. Our selection is endless with low prices and no gimmicks. We will not be undersold. Our friendly, knowledgeable staff will help you choose the perfect fireworks to make your holiday unforgettable. You'll go bananas at Powder Monkey. Don't want to fight the crowds? Order online at powdermonkeyfireworks.com. Powder Monkey Fireworks in Walden Springs.
Hey, Tony Colombo here with Tim Jones for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway, the #1 home selling team in the St. Louis area. And I can say that from firsthand experience. My wife and I were blown away from the results that we saw from working with Rodney and Jen, from selling our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible to finding our family's perfect new home. They over-delivered every step of the way. And right now, it's still very much a seller's market. So, Tim, for folks that have been thinking about selling their home, it's a perfect time to call the Wallners.
That's right, Tony. And don't forget, they're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois, so no matter where you are in the metro area, you can put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. The Wallners' experience and work ethic, second to none. And of course, the numbers speak for themselves. The Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Right now, they're working with so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Launching into a marathon floor speech.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in strong opposition to Donald Trump's one big, ugly bill.
House Democrat Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries obstructing a vote on the president's spending and tax cut bill. President Trump has lobbied Republican holdouts, and so too has House Speaker Mike Johnson.
We are working through everybody's issues and making sure that we can secure this vote. I feel very positive about the progress. We've had lots of great conversations. I've met with individuals and groups all day long, as has the president, who's fully engaged as well, trying to convince everybody this is the very best product that we can produce.
And while there was some dissension within the GOP ranks, Democrats have marched in lockstep opposing the bill that would block a huge tax hike while extending the Trump tax cuts. Shooting in northwest Washington, D.C. has killed a 21-year-old congressional intern who was working for Congressman Ron Estes.
Eric Tarpinian Jaquin was shot and killed in northwest D.C. Monday night. Metropolitan Police and the Kansas Republican confirmed. The intern would have been a senior at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst this fall. The 21-year-old was a Granby, Massachusetts resident who joined Estes's staff earlier in June. Metropolitan Police said in a statement Wednesday that detectives believe he was not the intended target of the shooting. Police responded to the sound of gunshots on the 1200 block of 7th Street Northwest just before 10:30 p.m. Monday night. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
4 people killed in a mass shooting last night outside a Chicago nightclub. A surprisingly robust employment report, America's employers adding 147,000 jobs in June. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 346 points, NASDAQ ahead 193. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, as we march toward Independence Day, we sprinkle in just a little more heat and a little more humidity each day. Mostly sunny this go-around with a high of 92. Top heat index today at 95. Around 85 for local fireworks displays tonight. Looks fine. And for the 4th of July, we start with a low of 75, but jump to 94 in the afternoon, feeling like 98 under mostly sunny skies tomorrow. More of the same this weekend, but let's be ready for a passing shower or storm by Sunday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
All right, welcome to hour number 2 of the 3-hour tour. I'm Vic Porcelli. That guy there is Ken Williams. You know, we didn't mention Porcelli's Deli today at 10:25. Shame on us, Ken, that we've never done Porcelli's Deli on one of our favorite bands, Songadata. What's the matter with us?
So we're going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So you're going to
I
have
am really excited about
something ready at the end of that.
Yeah.
Okay. The vice president and of MRC Free Speech America, Dan Schneider, is going to talk to us because God knows our free speech is just going down the drain. And, that's why they made it the First Amendment, free speech.
For a reason.
Founding fathers.
Yeah.
Tyler Gray, who is great. He's Delta Force, former Delta Force. He's just a badass. Chatbox, Wheel of Audio Clips. Right now, it's Nate Lucas.
Let's talk to Nate Lucas.
This is a man.
The communications director for U.S. Representative Eric Burlison.
How much has changed in this free country since 9/11? Now, I'm getting ready to go get touched by a TSA agent. It's the most action I've gotten in years.
Nate Lucas, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys?
We should probably be respectful and mention your title, Communications Director for U.S. Representative Eric Burlison. So before we get into the big, beautiful bill, it's big, it's beautiful, it's a big, beautiful bill. I have an idea I would like you to give to the representative, let him spread it through the rest of the Republican House and Senate. Yesterday, I said to Ken, Ken, because you know why, Nate? We're never on the offense. We're always playing defense, you know? And when they call Trump Hitler and when they call this alligator, Alcatraz, alligator Auschwitz, you know, we need to say, no, you're the ones who are the Nazis, not us. You are.
Right.
You can't just defend. You got to come back at them. So here's my plan.
Yeah, you really do. Yeah.
I said to Ken, I said, we need to do some sort of stunt on the steps of the Capitol building. And what happened yesterday? The Democrats did a stunt on the steps of the Capitol building. So here's my plan. Are you ready? Because this is what I heard, which made me crazy. Planned Parenthood, Nate, is going to be defunded for just a year. And then after the year, we fund it again. Did I get that right?
So this was a critical change, really, from the House version of the One Big Beautiful Bill that went to the Senate. The House version of the bill called for a 10-year freeze on federal funding to Planned Parenthood. Now, just think about it. You tell me, what would a 10-year spending freeze do to Planned Parenthood?
Bust it, I hope.
It would kill. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It would basically dismantle Planned Parenthood. They could not exist for 10 years without getting federal taxpayer dollars.
So here's how we get. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Here's how we get the Democrats stuck. I think that the Republicans should go on the steps of the Capitol building with everybody's got those picket signs. You know, the signs they make look like they're on the picket line, and the signs say, "Planned Parenthood was created to kill black people," and then march around with those. And then you can't argue with that because it's the truth, right? Margaret Sanger didn't want Negroes, as she called them, and that's why she created Planned Parenthood. And then
absolutely. I mean, go look at where they put the Planned Parenthood facility.
Right, exactly right. So then anybody who disagrees with that, especially black people, right, hates their constituents.
Right. Yeah, it's one of the most. I mean, you know, it's amazing that this battle continues, and it's just so bizarre the cruelty that these people speak with when they're discussing this topic. And you go to any sort of pro-life rally and you see the protesters, and I mean, it'll make you sick to your stomach. These people, you know, our friend who you've had on the show in St. Louis native, Owen Schroyer, I think one of the most unique talents about him is to go into these live situations, and he kind of battles these individuals on the ground and has it all video recorded and whatnot. He went to one of these events in Austin, Texas. It was about a year ago. And you should just see these vile humans. They have blood coming out of their eyes. They crave killing. And it's very bizarre. And you look at the two issues, like between neocons and their want to bomb every country in the world and kill and regime change, and innocent people always die in these things. And you look at the abortion crowd and they're wanting to kill the life of the unborn. There is a disgusting trend, I think, between amongst those two groups. And by and large, they are not pro-family. They do not understand, the cultural rot that our nation is currently undermined by. And it's a strange similarity, but I will never understand the want from these people to kill the unborn. I think it's just disturbing, and quite frankly, it should be murder.
Right. And, you know, I like the 10-year freeze on Planned Parenthood, but, you know, kids and not just kids, older people don't realize Margaret Sanger and the Planned Parenthood thing. We have a girl who works here. Her name is Ashlyn. She has been producing Jamie's show, and she's black, and she and Ken had an interesting conversation. Ken, will you tell that story?
Yeah, we were just talking about Planned Parenthood. It just came up, and then I said, do you realize who actually founded Planned Parenthood? And she said, well, no, not really. I said, okay, it was Margaret Sanger, and she hated black people. She goes, what? And I mean, she looked at me like fear in her eyes. And I said, well, no. I said, truthfully, I said, don't trust my word, just look it up, And she goes, no, I really want to find out about this. I said, yeah, she called blacks human weeds, and she would put Planned Parenthood locations in the neighborhoods. She wanted to get rid of black people. And I said, just look it up and research it and find out. And she did. And it's just eye-opening to me personally, but to them as well, Nate, that they're young people, and she's very young, that they just don't know this.
Right. And there's lots of older adults that don't know that.
Right.
And how could you not know this? I mean, it seems like with the wealth of information that is available at all of our fingertips, I guess they're just spewing lies left and right.
Yeah.
But I mean, look across the board. They lie about everything. And to see where Democrats have dragged their constituents or their party in so many different directions to the depths of what I would call just basic evil and tenets of Marxists and communists, I don't know. And these people are like still going after the carrot that's dangled out in their front of their face. I'm not quite sure what's happened to them.
And this bolsters my argument, Nate, that we're never on the offensive. Why haven't I ever heard somebody say that on the floor of Congress?
I don't get it.
Or on the floor of the Senate to say Planned Parenthood was started by a woman who hated black people. Why doesn't anybody say that?
You know why? Because there is still an overwhelmingly large percentage of the GOP that is afraid to go in that direction because what will the attacks be? Oh, you're just a racist. And they are so
what?
Scared. I know. And you know what? You know who broke that trend in 2015? Was Donald Trump.
Yep.
When he came out because remember, one of the elements that why Republicans would never touch illegal aliens and the immigration crisis in our country is because they were constantly in fear of being called racist. And Donald Trump not only shattered that glass ceiling, it's gotten to the point now where if you're called a racist, you're just sort of like, I mean, it's so watered down, sadly, because I do think that there is true racism in a lot of things going on, but they've watered it down to the point where you just kind of shake it off and you know that it's not true because they're just vicious attacks.
Nate, you're just
ad hominem attacks.
You're reading my mind because that's the whole idea. I think that's the sad thing is that the word racism now has no meaning. If someone were to walk up to me and call me right now a racist, I'd be like, shut up. Get out of here. You have no idea what you're talking about, number one. But it's just the fact that it doesn't have the impact that it had, say, 15 years ago.
Yeah, and it certainly doesn't carry any water when you know that the person that's calling you a racist is the racist, which are the Democrats. I mean, the most racist people probably on earth are these white liberals who run around with white guilt because they've read some, one too many articles on, Mother Jones or something. So they're really just freak shows that are true racists, and then they try to point the laser at you, and it's like, no, it doesn't work anymore. Your argument is tired and exhausting, and we're kind of moving on as a culture.
Well, we can only do things one at a time here, Nate, on this show. And so but on another topic, though, yesterday we decided that anytime anybody on this show says anti-Semite or anti-Semitism, we're going to stop them and say, excuse me, call it what it is. They're Jew haters, because Jew haters is a little stronger than anti-Semite,
I think that's very appropriate. We have to call out, call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. Let's stop hiding behind terms that sort of, loosely define what we all know is true.
Well, the UK, you right now you've got the UK. They've got all of their major cities are run by Islamic mayors, right? And they have Sharia law. They actually have Sharia courts in the UK. They have thousands of mosques. What's happening is they're falling to Islam. It's going to be a Sharia-run society very soon, Nate. It's because people don't open their mouths.
Yeah, but I said this last week, and I will continue to say it, that I think the direction in which our politics are trending are leading towards more radical candidates. That's why you see somebody like, this Mamdani or whatever the hell his name is in New York City. And you're going to continue to see this because of this great partisan divide that we currently are sort of working our way through. But you just hope that we have some sort of sanity. And really, it's just, I think it goes far beyond politics. And that's why I don't think there's a bill in Congress or anything that can sort of fix this issue. We need to, as a nation, really kind of restore common sense and just respect one another again. And that has seemingly gone so far out the window. I mean, look at how people treat each other online. It's vicious. It's angry. There's no cohesion whatsoever. And it's not a sustainable path, I think, as a nation, if we're going to, carry on what has been almost 250 years of the greatest nation on earth. The government is not going to fix the cultural rot that our current system is fighting.
Right.
President Reagan said, government is not the solution to the problem. Government is the problem. Okay, so there are countries who are fighting back. I mean, Poland, they're refusing to accept illegal Muslims.
How many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
If you are asking me, if you're asking me about Muslims illegal immigration, none, not even one will come to Poland. Not even one if it's illegal. We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim because this is what we promised.
But I asked not about illegal immigrants. I asked about refugees. And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission president, says that you're racist. You sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees.
Of course, because this is what our people are expecting from our government. That's number one. This is why our government was elected. But this is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason why we had not even one terrorist attack. Look at the streets in Poland. And we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
And Nate and Vic, he's pushing back. That's the main thing here.
But the girl's like, and you're proud of that?
Trying to shame him.
Yeah, proud of that.
Yes.
Yeah, Nate.
And I had to laugh because, of course, she uses the term refugees.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen here, lady. Quit using the tired again argument of the women and children, the refugees. No, we need a full stop on immigration. I'd even say we need a full stop on legal immigration. This is one of the core reasons why Donald Trump continues to win elections, is because the Democrats just haven't quite figured out that Americans are so fed up with the illegal aliens invading our country that are changing the fabric of our nation. And the Democrat elitists, the political elite that have invited this invasion, if you go back to the last administration of who I think treasonous Alejandro Mayorkas, these people dream of things like open borders. You can go back to a speech probably in the 90s of Hillary Clinton up there going, I dream of a nation that has open borders.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? You do? Where are they going to live with you in your penthouse in the Hamptons? Or, are you going to just ship them basically to live off the tit of the government and they'll become welfare recipients and then Democrat voters for life? That's precisely why they want illegal aliens coming into their country. They know they're losing the narrative with different demographics in the country. So they have to flood us with, individuals from third world countries that have no ability whatsoever to sort of assimilate into our culture. And they don't care. They don't care about the downfall of the country. But no serious nation just has open borders. And that's something that Democrats still to this day don't get. Look at them defending this Venezuelan MS-13 gang member.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you literally had a sitting senator fly down and meet with him and have a margarita. And this guy's a dangerous, vicious criminal that should have been deported, and we did. We sent him back to his home country, and now he can deal with his legal issues there. But we're getting them out of our country, and this one big bill that looks like it's going to pass here this afternoon is the most sweeping reform of border security, and it's critical. I think that is one of the most paramount issues facing our country right now, is the fact that we need to ramp up our mass deportations. And hopefully the funding in this bill will allow ICE and Homeland Security to get that done quickly and get these people back to whatever country they came from or whatever country. But they can't stay here. They're not going to be able to live off the big balloon of the government because we can't afford it. It's ridiculous.
This is a special report from the NewstalkSTL investigative news team. A 3.5 dozen cookie delivery went to Washington, D.C. It seems to have stalled, and it seems that the office of Representative Eric Burlison is to blame. Where's the cookies, Nate?
No, okay. You have to understand that despite, the great love for the cookies, which I continue to munch on. In fact, I had one yesterday.
What the hell?
I love it. I love it.
Because they're just so good. And they arrived,
Nate, are they good?
A week and a half ago.
Nate, they're really
so
good.
They're so amazing. And she sent, we got like 3 different varieties between just a classic chocolate chip. There's one that's like a super, mega chocolate. I'm butchering the names, but the chocolate is so rich. I actually went on a road trip last weekend and brought a few for the folks who were driving. So they couldn't believe how good they were. And yesterday I had one that had like some white chocolate and something else in there. I mean, they're so good. And for the fact that they were sent via mail from St. Louis to Washington, D.C., and they've, stayed fresh this entire time, like they're not going bad either. They have just as much freshness because of the way that they were shipped, packed. It's like an unbelievable delivery.
Well, the Trolley Stop Bakery and Diane Wood, who's the owner of the Trolley Stop Bakery, they are the official bakery of the Vic Porcelli Show. Because all your love of the cookies there, Nate, that whole thing you said, didn't really answer any questions on where the hell the cookies are for President Trump. You ate his cookies. You're filibustering, and I don't like it. So
I think it's funny.
Yeah, but I'm doing a better job than Hakeem Jeffries currently. So
exactly right.
Jeffries. All right, just try to get a cookie to the president and get him on the show. Okay, that's all I'm asking here.
I will.
All right,
I'll
try. I think we're all going to need a cookie after this last 24 hours of the one big beautiful bill, but I think the American people are going to be excited with the final passage of this thing, and it'll be a nice ceremony. I understand that the White House has a big event planned for tomorrow morning to get the bill signed. And if I could just have 1 second to share.
Go ahead. I'm kidding.
I know.
Go ahead. No, I'm kidding.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No.
But I put out on Twitter last night that communications is still so effective, and that's why I think mediums like NewstalkSTL are so important, because depending on where you get your news, last night when you saw that Dr. Bob Onder and Rep. Burlison were sort of these holdouts, and you see on social media they're getting attacked as like they're rhinos, they're never Trumpish or whatever, and it's like, no, those two are probably 2 of the most pro-Trump representatives in the entire body of Congress.
Right.
But they wanted to make sure that this bill restored some of the core principles that actually fight for President Trump's agenda. And so by holding out, they're not grandstanding. They're actually negotiating with White House officials and the president himself to make sure that language is included, whether it's through executive orders beyond this bill or whatever, do things like defund Planned Parenthood and defend your Second Amendment rights, things that are really key issues that need to be addressed. And that's why they're fighting. It's not because they're anti-Trump or they're rhinos or they need to be primaried or this or that. It's because they know what the MAGA movement looks like and what the base wants. And unfortunately, the colleagues in the Senate, tried to strip out a lot of the key things that the House sent over. And so by negotiating late into the night and getting guarantees from the White House that I think you'll see roll out over the next several weeks and months, you should be proud of the Missouri delegation up there. And going back to my core principle of why communications are so critical and why listening to outlets like NewstalkSTL are absolutely in your best interest, because that's where you're going to get the real news and not somewhere else. Particularly now knowing that Soros owns the other quote unquote conservative talk station in the area.
So wouldn't it be great if Donald Trump sat to sign the big beautiful bill and right next to him is a big beautiful cookie from Trolley Stop?
Right.
Yes. I couldn't, and then maybe multiple boxes. I mean, come on.
Hey, Nate, have a safe and happy Independence Day, my friend.
I appreciate that. This is my favorite holiday of the year. You see a lot of patriotism, and I'm looking forward to it. So happy 4th of July to you guys and all of your listeners. God bless.
I'm sorry. One last note from Don in the chat box. He says, remind Nate Lucas that Hillary Clinton won the proud Margaret Sanger Award in 2009.
Wow.
You win that for killing the most black babies, I think. Whoever kills the most black babies gets the Margaret Sanger Award. And Hillary got it because she's psycho. All right, Nate, really appreciate it. Say hi to the representatives for us and get the president a cookie, will you? For God's sake.
I will.
All right.
I'll
see you, buddy.
guys. Happy 4th.
You too.
See you, Nate.
Are we asking too much?
No, not at all.
We're not asking.
I know he's trying, but you know what? If you have a cookie sitting there, man, are you going to give it to President Trump or are you going to eat it? You going to take it with you to a vacation spot or not? I mean,
you give it to President Trump.
It's a big decision,
Oh,
Vic.
for God's
Sorry.
sakes. We'll sort this out eventually. We're going to have to ask Diane for another dozen, and she's going to hate us. All right, Porcelli's Deli next on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home. Happy 4th.
Whoosh.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at NewstalkSTL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Forget about it.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Whoosh.
Attention all gun enthusiasts. Don't miss the big Franklin County Gun Show happening July 11th through 13th at Washington, Missouri's Elks Lodge. With over 450 tables of pistols, handguns, rifles, long guns, shotguns, ammo, and more. The fun starts Friday, July 11th at 4 and continues all weekend. Admission just $10 and good for the entire weekend. Kids 12 and under get in free with discounts for veterans and first responders. The big Franklin County Gun Show at the Washington, Missouri Elks Lodge the weekend of July 11th. More info at bkpromotions.us.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Some things never go out of style, like standing for the national anthem, barbecue at the family picnic, and fireworks on the 4th. This Friday,
4th of July.
let's celebrate our freedoms.
God bless America.
From your local American favorites, M&T Farms Cool Cow Cheese, Lee May Concrete Block, Gerald Cafe, Hometown Market, and News Talk STL.
Are the days of a personal doctor gone? Not at Body of Health Direct Primary Care. I'm Dr. Randy Tobler to share how our design is putting the care back into healthcare. Plain and simple, our members, not insurance companies, get our exclusive focus. That means same or next day appointments, responsive answers to your concerns, and a no-spin, big tool chest approach. It's about time you get serious time devoted to your medical needs. To learn about healthcare the way it ought to be, schedule a discovery call today at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
Will ESPN apologize for praising Leah Thomas in Women's History Month?
Larry Connors USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. Welcome to Porcelli's Deli.
Yes, very good. I'll have a Bloody Mary and a steak sandwich and a steak sandwich, please.
Over here.
Ketchup. Where's the ketchup at?
I bet the Chinese food here is terrible.
With Vic Porcelli.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot. Porcelli's Deli is moved to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Come on in. We're open. Have a seat. Vic will tell you a story.
All right. Thank you very much, Jim Monson. So we got to squeeze a lot in here into very little time because, Ken, we got to do Porcelli's Deli. And I know we can do Sonia Dada good. That's what's coming up. But I also want everybody to be able to practice for the fireworks tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you go to the fireworks, you have to know what to do, what to say, when to say ooh, when to say ah. So let's do a little practicing.
Well, wait a minute. I want to say, first of all, that I did talk with Jeff a little bit about this, and he suggested that we not light up fireworks in the studio. So I don't know. I mean, should we take the chance or not?
Well, just ask Nate to do it. He'll do it.
Okay.
And we can remote it in from DC.
I mean, I'll do it if you're ready.
I do. I'm ready. Play the fire. My God, what do I got to do to get some fireworks?
Wow.
Okay. That's That's all. A little bit of practice. That's all I'm asking.
I can't just stop them.
Well, do the finale and let's go.
All right.
So Porcelli's Deli. So Ken and I worked at this radio station, 101.1 The River, and I hope someday, Ken, people remember that radio station because it was a very important radio station in St. Louis.
Oh, it was, yeah.
And we went up against, well, I'll just say it, we went up against Y98.
Yep.
And the two stations were mirror images musically, but we always beat them. Why is that? Because of what was in between the records. That's us. That's you and me.
Right.
So we played this band called Sonia Dada. In 1993, they released this, their first album, and they did a free show at AJ's in the Adams Mark Hotel. And nobody came. Like 8 people came. It was so embarrassing for the band. And they did a great knockout show like they always do. Then we did a show with them at Mississippi Nights. Pretty well attended. And then word started getting out. And then every time Sonia Dada came to town, the place was packed.
Yeah.
And how they started was Paris Delane, Michael Scott, and shame on me, Ken. Anyway, these 3 black guys, were singing a cappella songs on the L platform. And Dan Pritzker, who we have found out is related to J.B. Pritzker, which is very disappointing. He's his cousin.
Yeah.
Heard it and was like, well, you guys are great. Why don't you come by the studio and maybe we can record? Yep. They showed up the next day.
And was Pritzker a part of of a rock band?
An unknown, nobody knew who they were, rock band.
Right, but it was colliding rock with the soulful harmonic.
Well, once the black guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a rock and soul kind of band.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Rock and soul music. And so they started to record. They released that first album, and we were the only people who played them. I mean, in St. Louis, nobody played them but us. And Sam Hogan was the other singer. So Sam Hogan, Paris Delane, and Michael Scott.
Yeah.
And so we would keep booking them. By the way, in 1993, Sonia Dada had the #1 song of the year in Australia over Eric Clapton.
I find that so interesting.
And Whitney Houston. They were #1. There's a video if you want to go see what they were like live back then. I mean, you should see them after too because they added songs. But their live in Australia concert, the whole concert is on YouTube. You can go watch the whole thing. So I feel like I have told this story now. I'm thinking about it, Ken.
Well, there might be quite a few people who haven't heard it though.
Okay. So for some reason they weren't around for a while. They did a show with us and then we didn't see them for like maybe, I don't know, 6 months or a year, which is a lot for us because we loved them so much.
Yeah.
And they were going to be at Mississippi Nights. And I got to interview them during afternoon drive. So when you're driving on your way home, you heard me talk to Sonia Dada in an empty Mississippi Nights. And I swear to God, this is what I thought. I said, and because I love the Temptations, and my first 45 that I bought when I was a kid was the Temptations Ball of Confusion. Loved the Ball of Confusion. And I said, you guys, did you ever think of like covering some? This is on the air, by the way. This is live on the air. Just putting my ass in the breeze.
And you're talking to the guy who was standing by the soundboard while this was all happening. I'm just loving every second of it.
I said, Michael, you got that high Eddie Kendrick kind of sound. Sam definitely had that raspy Dennis Edwards sound. And Paris Delane could do Melvin Franklin in his sleep. And the band play, So I said, have you guys ever thought of like doing like, I don't know, like maybe Ball of Confusion? So Dan Pritzker, this is how we knew them so well that Dan was able to say live on the air, hey, Vic. Oh, wow, Ken, what are you doing? This is great. This is Ball of Confusion. This is the Temptations?
Yes.
Yeah. So Dan says, and again, because we were friends, he said, hey, Vic, when we need suggestions for songs, we'll call you. Okay?
Right.
Don't worry about it. I said, all right, whatever, So then it came the part of the interview where they're going to do a song for us. And I said, all right, Sonia Dada live from Mississippi Nights. Go ahead, guys, hit it. And they do Ball of Confusion. They had practiced it. They had rehearsed it. They were ready to do it. Rap on, brothers. Rap on.
The vocal ability of this band was just, they had no limit. There was no limit to this band.
Not to mention Paris could do the deep part and the high part.
Yes,
You
yes.
know?
Every bit of them was just, it was just soul, it was music.
Turn up. Oh, yeah, sorry. So they did Ball Confusion, and they did it that night. All the confusion. So I said, that's great. You guys got all the components except the harmonica, which I could provide for you if you need. And Dad said, really? I said, yeah. So that night I played harmonica with Sonia Dada on stage at Mississippi Nights doing Ball Confusion.
You did, and it was amazing. But I got to tell you, you missed something there. I remember standing at the soundboard while you were doing all this, and eventually, live on the radio, which was never, ever done in St. Louis, they started playing the Jungle Song.
That was first.
Yeah.
That was before Ball Confusion.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. And, I mean, now, and and by the way, Paris Delane died. He died right before COVID hit, by the way. And it's always been kind of in my head, was he one of the first people that died from COVID,
Yeah.
And, oh, wait a minute. I guess I could figure out his name right here. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Just want to make sure I got it right. Eric Scott was a guitar player. He and my wife turned out to be great friends. They would talk to each other on, Messenger, on Facebook and stuff. And Eric died.
Wow.
So before these guys died, I kept at Sonia Dada, one more tour. I would hashtag one more tour, and they never did. And now you can't, because I'm sorry, you can't go out on tour without Paris Delane. You can't. So anyway, Sonia Dada, pick up their album. It's their first one, 1993. That came out. Live it, let it. Wow. Live it down. Let it
live on forever.
Nope. Lay down and love it live.
Oh, okay.
That's the live version of You Don't Treat Me No Good. Is that what you're going to play here? Okay. So this is the original version.
Yeah.
Yeah. So You Don't Treat Me No Good, Sonia Dada in the DELI on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Well, the truth, well, it hurts to say. I'm gonna pack up my bag and I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna split. I can't stand it. I'm gonna give it up and quit and ain't never coming back. But before I get to going, I got to say, I know you used to love me, but that was yesterday. And the truth, I won't fight it. When the love starts burning, you got to do what's right. Oh, lover, you don't treat me no good no more. Oh, lover, you don't treat me no good no more. Well, the truth, it hurts to say. I'm gonna pack up my bag and I'm gonna go away.
Tuna on toast, coleslaw, cup of coffee.
Yeah. No, wait a minute. I always have tuna on toast. Nothing's ever worked out for me with tuna on toast. I want the complete opposite of tuna on toast. Chicken salad on rye, untoasted, with a side of potato salad and a cup of tea.
When the love starts burning, you got to do what's right. But before I get to going, I got to say, there was a time, oh woman, when you used to shake.
The Vic Porcelli Show, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Like Ferguson in the morning, we keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
It's JC's Wayback Machine.
This week, it's our 4th of July holiday special. 3 big hours of songs about the good old US of A, plus comedy and fireworks fun.
So you're going to tell me you don't have one single whistling kitty chaser?
Presented by the Weber Automotive Group.
Be safe this 4th of July. Try not to lose any fingers.
Look, I can count to 8. Whoa.
It's our 3-hour 4th of July holiday special.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9 on News Talk STL.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stigall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
Hey, Jamie Allman here for my good friend Harry Parker and the ultimate seafood dining experience at Gulf Shores, GulfShoresRestaurantandGrill.com. Gulf Shores offering a unique dining experience with a vast, mouth-watering menu of all of your favorite delicious dishes, something for everyone's taste or palate. 3 convenient locations, Edwardville, Creve Coeur, and St. Peter's. Dine in, carry out. They've got a food truck, too. Friendly staff. Looking forward to seeing you, making your dining experience one you will remember. Gulf Shores RestaurantandGrill.com.
Fox News commentary.
Teen bullying here in Tennessee now comes with a very inconvenient penalty. I'm Tommy Lahren. Find out next.
Sponsored by AxeCap Ventures. America, listen up. Gold prices are breaking records. With inflation raging and central banks hoarding, every American should own gold. And like President Trump said, whoever holds the gold makes the rules. AxeCap Ventures owns one of Nevada's largest undeveloped gold deposits and trades for pennies on the dollar. This could be your way to ride the gold boom. AxeCap trades under GARLF on the OTC. Visit axecapventures.ca today.
Combat bullying and cyberbullying. A new law here in Tennessee states that any minor found guilty of bullying or cyberbullying in juvenile court will lose their driving privileges for 1 year. This was a bipartisan measure that lawmakers here in the volunteer state hope to see other states adopt. The law might seem a bit harsh, but it does offer a second chance for first-time offenders and has a carve-out to allow teens to drive with restricted privileges to church, school, and work. That does require sign-off by a judge, however. It's a noble endeavor. Far too many young people suffer long-term consequences from bullying, and far too many even resort to taking their own life. I do think this law is going to be tough to enforce, though. One man's teasing is another man's bullying, and the discretion here seems pretty broad. Even so, I hope parents will step up and fill the void. Manners, decency, and godliness in the home would go a long way. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
In a traffic jam, staring at the faces in a rearview mirror.
Hi, this is Jefferson County Councilman Billy Crow with a reminder to check out our new show, Jeffco Patriot Radio, this and every Sunday at high noon. Now, back to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Thank you, Representatives. Good morning, everybody. 1019-94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That is Ken Williams. Our next guest is the Vice President of MRC Free Speech America. His name is Dan Schneider. Dan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks a lot. You're allowing Jayhawkers to come on the show, I take it. Huh?
Uh-oh. Hold on. You're a Jayhawks fan?
I graduated from the University of Kansas.
All right,
and I graduated from Mizzou.
We got to go. Sorry, Dan. We ran out of time. We were going to talk to you, but too late now.
But I'll tell you, KU is not the font of all evil. Google is.
Well, I was going to get to that. Excuse me. Ken will be our Thunder Stealer, okay? I don't need 2 Thunder Stealers in the room. But go Tigers. Anyway, so this infuriated me so much, Dan, that you put into Google's Gemini, which is what do you call it, Dan? AI? Is that what it's called? AI?
Yeah,
that's Google's version.
Their AI chatbot. Their
Okay,
system,
so
their
so
AI
chatbots.
intelligence.
So you put in a question about the American flag. Tell everybody what Google said about the American flag. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, it's Independence Day, where we celebrate our freedom, where our founding fathers risked their lives and fortunes and their sacred honor for the rest of us. But Google claims that the Pledge of Allegiance, the flag, Independence Day, that they are offensive, at least to some or to many. And there are racist perspectives in our nation's founding and in our independence. Google has a system where they are trying to propagandize people. And people don't really understand this as much as they ought to. Google is not merely a search engine. It's a propaganda tool for the left.
Absolutely is. And when it calls the American flag a symbol of hate, I mean, I just don't understand. Every country's got a flag. Why is ours a symbol of hate?
Yeah. I never wore the uniform. My father was a Marine. He was shot 13 times for our country. He was blown up. He went through hell for us and our flag. And this is how Google's Gemini, its AI system, portrays our freedoms and our values.
I'm all about sometimes, Kenny and I both, changing how we say things. A lot of people now are saying, well, we deported all these people. We're putting these people in the alligator or Alcatraz. Is this what you voted for? And I feel like saying we should say, is this what you fought for? Right? Because Democrats don't understand that veterans fought for that flag, died for that flag, and then yet they allow Google to say a symbol of hate. But, First Amendment, what are you going to do?
Well, they've got the right to speak, but these giant platforms, and this may get a little wonky, they are what are called common carriers under the law. Common carriers are not allowed to discriminate. And I've attended Supreme Court oral arguments with big tech, and they literally are arguing to resurrect an even worse version of the Plessy versus Ferguson standard of separate but equal. These big tech platforms literally believe that they have a constitutional right to discriminate against Black people, against people of faith, against people who have political viewpoints different from theirs. They think they've got that right. This is the whole separate bathrooms, separate train cars, separate but equal standard of Plessy versus Ferguson. Every liberal in America should be outraged by this. Every American should be outraged by this.
Dan, is there a particular platform, chat, that is better than the others, like ChatGPT? Is there anything?
That's a good question.
Are they all the same?
There are a couple that consistently tend to be better than the others. Some of Google's Gemini is almost always bad on things. Microsoft's AI is particularly bad when it comes to anti-Semitism and Israel.
Vic, we have to interrupt.
Did he say anti-Semitism?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Dan, we've changed that. You're not allowed to say anti-Semitism on the show anymore. It's Jew hater. Okay?
Jew hate.
Something a little stronger than anti-Semitism. Jew hater. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I just testified last week in the House Judiciary Committee on Jew hatred and showing how the real leaders in promoting Jew hatred in America are the Associated Press, Wikipedia, Google, and Microsoft's AI. All four of those work together and are really fanning the flames of Jew hatred and anti-Semitism, both, if I can say both.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's say both.
Yeah. The comparison, it just comes from Dan, that we had a conversation with other representatives saying that we need to get more bold about our stance and be on the offense instead of defense. And we feel that Jew hater is much more powerful than anti-Semite.
Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right. And this is how the AP is terrible. The Associated Press has its style book, and of course, you guys know what that is.
Of course,
your listeners, some of your listeners might know, but it's essentially the rule book that people in the media are supposed to follow. And the AP style book will not define the Holocaust or anti-Semitism, or even other really offensive terms like genocide. It gives license to reporters all over the country then to use these terms in ways that diminish the horrors of the Holocaust, diminish the attacks against Israel, and instead to misuse these terms to attack, regular Americans who are Jewish and Israel. And let's keep this thing in mind. This Jew hatred is not simply about Jews. It is about trying to upend and destroy Western civilization. If we can attack one group of Americans, it is just the camel's nose under the tent to destroy all of us and to destroy our freedoms.
Just for kicks and giggles, I put into Grok, which is X's AI. I
Their
guess that's
version,
AI,
yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I asked it, tell me about the American flag. And Grok said the American flag, often called the Stars and Stripes, is a potent symbol of the United States, embodying its history, values, and unity.
There you go.
So kiss my ass, Google.
we went to 6 different AI systems and asked them, what is the capital of Israel? Only Grok was able to say definitively, Jerusalem is. And all the others said, well, it kind of depends. Some will say this and some will say that, and it's very controversial. That's what you get out of most of these other AI chatbots. It's left-wing spin and left-wing propaganda.
And you're right. I put it in Grok. What's the capital of Israel? A 5-word answer. The capital of Israel is Jerusalem.
Wow, awesome.
And by the way, can I just say, how many presidents promised they'd move the embassy to Jerusalem and didn't do it? And Donald Trump did it. Promises made, promises kept.
Yeah. Everyone since Reagan. Reagan promised to, and he didn't get it done. I love Reagan.
Me too.
Love Reagan.
Oh, yeah, we do too
Only
here,
Trump
yeah.
got it done.
Yep. All right. So tell me about MRC Free Speech America. I'm so intrigued about it.
Okay, well, MRC is the Media Research Center. We've been around for about 4 decades trying to expose liberal media bias. We are, for the last 18 months, literally, I've been working really hard to defund NPR and PBS.
I was going to say, you're busy.
Ending forced taxpayer subsidies. We've got 2 weeks left in this sprint to the end for the Senate to pass Trump's request to rescind the funding to NPR and PBS. And then I'll also oversee our Free Speech America side, which is our battle against big tech censorship and other attacks against our free speech rights. The Biden administration had 57 different initiatives to destroy our First Amendment rights. The single largest assault ever against free speech, the Biden administration. And we are still working with the Trump administration to reverse those different initiatives across 93 different federal agencies. People do not know truly how hostile Biden was to the First Amendment.
You know what? NPR dug their own grave, because I can't even do it anymore. But I used to listen to NPR on Saturday, so my audience didn't have to, and I reported my findings back to them on Monday. And there's this one show on NPR. It's called the New Yorker Radio Hour. Are you familiar with this show?
Yeah.
And David Remnick, right? I'm David Remnick, and this is the New Yorker Radio Hour. Donald Trump killed a black person and a black person's dog today. It's a whole hour of Donald Trump sucks every Saturday.
Yeah. Well, this is the NPR and PBS. They're in the home stretch trying to convince senators not to vote to defund them. And one of their big arguments right now is, well, local communities need NPR and PBS to get local news. Well, we've just done a survey. We checked the flagship stations in every single state for NPR and PBS. Every single state, the flagship stations, and overall, on average, only 5.4% of their programming is local.
Not to mention
95% of NPR shows are from Los Angeles, New York, DC, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and it's all of this, national left-wing propaganda. Local news barely exists on NPR.
I get it. And not for nothing, but every radio station has a sales department that goes out and sells time.
Yeah.
Do that. Why can't you do that?
Yeah. Instead, they take literally billions of dollars of taxpayer dollars, to propagandize America. Yeah. It's got to end.
Dan, you mentioned something about Biden's initiatives. What was that about? Because, and if you could give us a good example of one of them.
Yeah, so Biden had 57 separate censorship initiatives. For example, out of the Department of Homeland Security, the agency that is supposed to attack or to stop terrorists at the border, the Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Grant Program, it coordinated with the U.S. State Department to train people on how to infiltrate conservative groups like the Heritage Foundation and Prager University and the Christian Broadcasting Network, how to infiltrate and subvert them. You know, they created this, it's called the Pyramid of Far-Right Radicalization. Our tax dollars that are supposed to be catching terrorists at the border,
right,
are being used to train people to silence us.
Have they been defunded?
That's just
do you know?
one of many.
Do you know? Do you know?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
That got, you know, we exposed that. We discovered all the documents. We worked with Congress. Congress ended the program. This is, and in this rescission bill, in the next 2 weeks, to defund NPR and PBS, part of that bill is also to defund some of our so-called foreign policy things that includes this program.
Right.
And U.S. senators last week were complaining that we're ending, you know, Republicans are going to vote to weaken border security by ending this program. Like, this program was designed to infiltrate conservative groups and conservative media.
Right.
That's what the Biden administration did with it.
Oh, my God. Dan Schneider, Vice President of MRC Free Speech America. Great conversation, Dan. Let's catch up again, especially finding out about NPR and PBS getting defunded, okay?
Yeah.
God bless you guys. Have a great 4th of July.
You as well.
God bless you, Dan. Have a great Independence Day, sir.
Can you squeeze in some more fireworks? Can we do some more fireworks?
I think we can do that.
I'd like to see just a little bit more fireworks, just to practice. I don't want to go out and watch fireworks tomorrow and look stupid, you know?
Right.
I want to make sure I look like I know what I'm doing, you know? Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, oh my goodness.
Ah.
It's hot in this room.
All you got to do is say ooh and ah. That's all you got to do. This is next. And then we're back for the third hour of our third hour tour on 1019 and 94. Ooh. News Talk STL.
Considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Nate Lucas here for the Village Bar in the heart of Des Peres. Since 1948, the Village Bar has been the go-to destination for delicious food, cold drinks, and unbeatable atmosphere. Savor their famous wings, burgers, and onion rings, or grab a drink from their fully stocked bar. Catch all the big games and enjoy the company of their friendly staff. Plus, don't miss the 1879 Distillery, a one-of-a-kind experience right next door. The Village Bar offers the best value in town. Find the Village Bar on Facebook and come experience where history meets great times. You'll be glad you did.
Some things never go out of style, like standing for the national anthem, barbecue at the family picnic, and fireworks on the 4th. This Friday,
4th of July,
let's celebrate our freedoms.
God bless America.
From your local American favorites, Ruthie's Family Restaurant, Gerald Home Center, Blue Sky Apparel and Promotions, and News Talk STL.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. On the floor of the House of Representatives, as he began the fourth hour of his filibuster against President Trump's big, beautiful bill, Democratic Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries indicated he still had more to say.
I did want to take a little time
at this moment to enter into the record some of the statements that have been made, Mr. Speaker, by our Republican colleagues.
Meanwhile, House Republicans ready to vote on the measure today, with House Speaker Mike Johnson confident of the votes needed for passage. Majority Leader Steve Scalise says Democrats are misleading the public about the tax and spending bill.
Question: why does the other side keep hiding behind billionaires? Is their excuse to vote no? Because they made a decision, Mr. Speaker, early off. They don't want to give people back their money.
Former Trump economic advisor Stephen Moran claims the Trump administration's agenda will create an economic boom.
So the president's economic agenda, including the bill, including the deregulation, including the energy policies, will boost GDP by about a full percentage point, boost economic growth every year by about a full percentage point on average over the next decade.
Moran was interviewed on the Salem Radio Network. The Labor Department reports employers added 147,000 jobs in June. The unemployment rate ticked down to 4.1 from 4.2% in May. Also at townhall.com, police say 4 people have died from gunshot wounds and 14 others have been hospitalized following a drive-by shooting. It happened in Chicago. The shooting happened late Wednesday in Chicago's River North neighborhood. More at townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-529-2856. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-529-2856 or biglou.com.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Tony Colombo here for my dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, the one-stop shop for all your family's dental needs. And Dr. Boscia is always expanding his services, now including the incredible all-on-4 full arch implant procedure, full mouth restoration that can give you back your smile in as little as 1 day. No more suffering with damaged or missing teeth or poor fitting dentures. You can see some amazing smile makeovers, learn more about the all-on-4 procedure, and see everything Dr. Boscia can do right now at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here. Exciting things are happening at the Hideout in High Ridge, famous for the Sunset Patio, 4 big screen TVs, live music in advance, and of course, the wings. The Hideout now has a brand new menu featuring handcrafted burgers and new items like their signature sunset dip and Dave's chili. And now a second location, the Hideout at Sugar Creek Golf Course in High Ridge, featuring great event space. You can stop by for lunch or dinner. The new 2025 Hideout and the new Hideout at Sugar Creek Golf Course. We'll see you there.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Looking for unbelievable deals? Stop by Overstock Outlet in Lake St. Louis or Warrenton. Open 7 days a week. Discover big savings on a huge variety of merchandise with no hassle. Just great prices. Visit us in Lake St. Louis on Highway N or in Warrenton on Boones Lake. Check out our Facebook page at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis or go online to overstockoutletstl.com. Unbeatable value, friendly service, and you never know what we'll have at Overstock Outlet.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by the Trolley Stop Bakery, the official bakery of the Vic Porcelli Show. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
A 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough.
We squeeze in a dry hump day under partly sunny skies.
From New Jersey to Baldwin, Missouri, two behind the microphone, taking the whoosh to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show. Here he is, Vic Porcelli.
Cutesy time is over.
That's right.
Just told my boss that cutesy time is over.
Cutesy time's over.
Okay, hey, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for putting up with everything. I just want to say this something real quick. Ken, shame on us. We should have talked about this earlier in the show. But the U.S. economy added a stronger than expected 147,000 jobs in June, and the unemployment rate fell to 4.1.
So you're saying Trump's policies are failing?
Yes, and I also say that people, the experts, all the governmental experts, said, "Oh, worse than expected jobs number." It's like, try to tell the truth just once.
Just once, please.
Okay, let's get our next guest going. Tyler Gray, we've had him on before, former Delta Force operator. Tyler, welcome back to the show. How you doing, my friend?
Great. Thank you so much for having me again.
Is that okay if I call you my friend? Because I really would like you to have you as a friend.
My friend. Absolutely.
Because I know you'll protect me if anything gets sideways. So I want to start off right off the bat with July 4th, our biggest holiday in this country, our 249th anniversary. The terrorists would love to ruin that. What should people be aware of this weekend?
Well, the way I always try and explain it, first of all, let's start with this. You saw kind of post Iran, bombing, I guess, for lack of a better term, you had, these calls coming out about sleeper cells and this kind of, Iranian activating sleeper cells. And now you're seeing it kind of turn into more of a lone wolf type warning. So the biggest thing I always advocate for at the end of the day is awareness. Awareness is the key. And you really have to have a level of awareness of what is normal. You have to be aware before you spot something abnormal, because you won't know it's abnormal unless you're really aware of what normal is, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense.
It's really key that people just, keep an eye out. And the simple way I explain it is, if something seems weird, and I can't think of a better word than weird, odd, whatever you want to call it, report it, because it's not a big deal to report it. It'll be checked out. But if you don't report it, you're like, that was odd. And then, 2 days later, you find out something happened. Those people really, feel bad for probably the rest of their lives. So if you see something odd, be aware and report it to the authorities.
All right. Listen, I hate asking long questions, but I do have a couple of stories here to invite you into, Tyler. One being, absolutely. I am always on the lookout. This is so crazy. If there's a girl walking with a guy and she gives you the signal, or she has her hand open and closes her fingers onto her palm and opens it again, it means she's being abducted. And that means, step into that conversation, show the guy that you just called 911, and he'll run. Those stories scare me so much that I'm always on the lookout for that, And then the other thing is, okay, comment on that, and then I'll get to another thing.
Well, first of all, it wasn't that long ago. I want to say maybe I'm just going to throw out 2 months-ish. I learned about that sign, and if anyone's listening and doesn't know what we're talking about, just look up video online of the I'm being abducted hand signal, I guess maybe is a good search. It'll come up. It's something you should know. When I found out about it, I was a little, quite frankly, upset that I hadn't heard about it.
Me too.
So, yeah, I know. I was like, well, this should be put out. So definitely learn it and put it out to your friends, because everyone should know that, because obviously it's a huge deal. Again, the biggest thing that we need, in my opinion, it's my opinion, what I think we need to get into again is a culture of doing something, not of having an opinion, not of thinking something, and not of saying something, but of doing something.
Right.
Action is the key. And if you see something wrong, you have to take action. And if we all took the reason criminals, terrorists, whatever, doesn't matter. The reason they get away with things is because people don't act.
Yes.
Okay. That's a perfect lead in to my next story. I live about one block from the middle school where all my kids went. One of my daughters was attending that middle school, and I went out to the store, a quick trip to get, coffee and cigarettes and stuff and bring them back to my wife. And on my way back, I saw this guy dressed in fatigues with a backpack, and the backpack was clearly stuffed with whatever it was. And I called my wife and I said, this guy's headed towards the school. What should I do? She goes, well, if you feel like you have to call the police. So I did. I called the police. I told them, I didn't say I thought it was a terrorist. I said, here's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So it turns out the guy was just donating food to a can drive. And I'm like, do you have to do it in fatigues and looking like
right?
Yeah.
But did I do the right thing? I think so, because if that guy shot up the school, I would never be able to live that down.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And then let's look at the two different possibilities here. Possibility number one was just what you said, which is it was a person going to shoot up a school. You could have stopped that. Had you not done that, like you said, first of all, lives more than likely would have been lost, and you would have blamed yourself for the rest of your life without a doubt. The other thing is what actually happened, which is you said, hey, this guy looks odd. I'm pretty confident they went and checked him out. And again, on that note, if the cops come up and you're doing nothing wrong, it's like, you explain the situation. They go, oh, we got a call. And hopefully the person was like, oh, I am in fatigues. Although he probably didn't say that because he probably didn't think anything was odd about it. But either way, it's a minor if you're wrong, it's a minor inconvenience. If you're right, it's life-saving. And we should take that 10 out of 10 times. Take those odds.
Tyler,
and again,
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Sorry, I want to add one last thing. People have to understand it. Let's look at TSA and flying. Look, flying sucks, but at the end of the day, there will always be an inverse relationship between freedom and what's necessary to provide some level of security. It's frustrating, and I wish we didn't. I wish we could all just hop on an airplane, but that's just not the world we live in today. And so, there's always going to be a compromise between the two, and it's just something to a degree we have to accept to provide the security that we need to provide for this country.
Well, Tyler, especially today. I mean, you've got the last 4 years of over 20 million unvetted people coming into this country, including some of the people that we're kind of at war with, or at least we bombed. So over 700 Iranians, which I would argue would be thousands of them have crossed the border and we still don't know about it. And that's just another reason why we have to be vigilant, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, again, I was just having this conversation yesterday. I don't really understand what I mean, maybe there's some, who knows what was going on, but without question, there was, thousands, if not hundreds, who knows the amount.
Nobody
of
knows.
People. No one knows. And that's the key. And there's absolutely no doubt that a good percentage of those people came in with ill intent, whether it was, Venezuelan criminals or, Iranian sleeper agents, or really, any terrorists or terrorist sympathizers. And they're here. They've been here. And, our biggest attack today, our biggest threat, it's not World War II times. We're not worried about the Atlantic, and the Pacific can no longer protect us because the threat is already here.
And Joe Biden's administration brought them here.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I can't see, it's just such, while it was happening, it's one of those situations. I just left California. I moved to Florida, and, I grew up in California, and I compare the border crisis to California in the sense that you look at what's happening and you go, what's their end state here? There's no logic or rhyme or reason to it. It just doesn't make sense. And so, Now we're going to be in a process of dealing with these threats that came in under that time. And we, again, have to be vigilant. And it's not, we can't put the task of being vigilant on, law enforcement or first responders. It has to fall to everyone. They need to be notified. They can't be everywhere. We're everywhere. And nowadays, every single person has a freaking phone, video camera, audio. We're running with a full, camera suite here, and we have the ability to be the eyes and ears for the first responders, and we all need to have some level of responsibility in that.
Everybody knows the phrase, if you see something, say something. And I think what we've been learning here today is if you see something, sometimes you have to do something, because saying something is not enough. We're talking to Tyler Gray. He has a book called Forged in Chaos, A Warrior's Origin Story. He's a Delta Force operator. That means badass, so don't mess with him. We live in such weird times where if you have an American flag outside, let's say you live in an apartment and you have an American flag hanging from your balcony, and Muslim people who live there are offended by it, and you're told to get rid of the American flag. What are we doing here, Tyler?
It's a strange thing. And as I said, I just came from California. I'm currently in Florida, and, there's a flag everywhere here. And it's one of those things where I just don't know where I don't know where the turn came, where we became so worried about offending other people, because it's impossible to offend someone. The only possible way to offend someone is that they choose to be offended.
Right. And
that's a fact. People can say what they want, but that's a fact. So I can say anything to you. The only way you get offended is if you allow yourself to be offended.
Exactly right.
And that's one of those things. So it's not on, the offense is really, it's on the responsibility of the offended person, whether they're going to take that in or not. And we need to get back to the level of responsibility that, anyone can have their opinion, and that's fine. It doesn't mean, I think where we went wrong is suddenly this, country, society started giving all opinions equal weight.
Yes.
Like all opinions were valid. And the fact is, I'm sorry, they're not. They're demonstratively not. So, again, anyone can have their opinion, and they're absolutely entitled to it. But it's a very slippery slope when we start acting like just because somebody has an opinion that they're all equal and they're all valid.
We're talking with Tyler Gray. He's the author of Forged in Chaos, A Warrior's Origin Story. Tyler, if there's a theme this week for the Vic Porcelli Show, it would be pushback, be on the offense, not the defense. And we've talked about this week. The problem is people allowed it because they didn't say anything. And you're talking about responding. And I think one of the things is you have to be vocal about it. When someone calls you, when someone says, hey, you can't have that American flag on your deck, you say, sue me. It's staying up. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm putting another one up. How about that?
Yeah.
He's crazy. Ken's crazy. You talked about one, he'll put up 3 or 4.
Yeah, but that's, so it goes back to this. At the end of the day, all people, if you look at the behavior of children, if you give them an inch, they'll take it a mile. And we all still have that. It's just to a somewhat lesser degree. But when someone pushes you, I mean, it's really kind of fundamentally what my book is about. The warrior mentality. A warrior is not defined by wearing a uniform. It's not defined by a job. To me, what a warrior is someone who, when pushed, pushes back.
Yep.
And you can do any job. You could have, any age, any sex. It doesn't matter. You can have that warrior. If you have that, then you are a warrior. And we need to start activating that warrior mentality now. When pushed, we push back. And there's no one can define for me America more than we are a country that when pushed, we will push back. Yes, and under Trump now, we're pushing back. Under the last administration, not only did we not push back, hell, we laid down. And when you lay down, the way this world is designed, humans are just like animals in that there's 2 types of us. predators and prey.
Wow. You know what?
And that's the way we're designed. And the only way, but if you watch the animal kingdom, if you get enough prey to stand up to a predator, they will, watch lions in Africa, with gazelle or whatever, they'll respect it and they won't attack. And that's the mentality we need to have. We need to stand together and push back at anyone that pushes us. And if we do that, it will stop and it'll start changing and be the way it should be.
And I think that is now more and more obvious with enlistment up. I can't even 10-fold, 100-fold since Donald Trump's been president. And I think that he's the reason. The guys in the service, they love him, right?
Absolutely. But, one point I want to make on that, I've talked about this before, but I do think it's an important distinction to make. And that is, I'm Gen X. When I was joining the military, you had Vietnam vets, you had Korea vets, World War II vets, this new Gen X generation, they're, young and lazy, blah, 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 right? And then now it is. And now my generation's like, these whatever it is now, Z, I don't even know. Gen Z kids, they're lazy. They don't want to join the military. And again, that was being said by my generation during the Biden administration. And my point being is we were blaming Gen Z and going, those kids are lazy. They're unpatriotic. And now we're seeing that that's not true. It wasn't the generation's fault. It was, they didn't want to join under that administration. And I get it. So I think it's the reason I'm saying this, I think it's a great sign that, yes, enlistment's up. That's a great sign. But I think the bigger piece is that, yes, you still got those kind of people in this generation as well. And that's an even better sign to me.
He's so right, Vic.
You know what, Tyler? I never served. I would have made a terrible soldier. I'm just, not very disciplined. And Ken never served, but you would have been fine. I'll bet you can do. I can do up to one push-up. I can do up to almost one. But here's a funny story, right? I saw an ad, for the Air Force for radio, because I lost my job in radio. Everybody does. And I said to my wife, I said, look, I can be on the radio for the Air Force. I didn't realize I'd have to go through boot camp to do it.
Yeah.
But they told me they told me I was too old anyway, so thank God for that. Anyway, so listen, Tyler, it's always great to talk to you. You always have a great profound look at things and fighting back and things like that. The book is called Forged in Chaos, A Warrior's Origin Story. And I also as we leave, just one more time, I will talk about that symbol that girls will give you if they're being abducted, right? If you close all your fingers, put them all together, and then close it over your palm and then open it again, that means I'm being abducted. Please help. That's all I want to say. Tyler, happy 4th, man.
Yes, you too, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure.
Tyler. Thanks, man.
Delta Force.
Have a good one, guys.
Not only did he serve, he was Delta Force, Ken.
Yeah.
If he wanted to, he could find out where we are, you and me, and come and kick our ass just for fun.
Just for fun.
I don't think
hey
he
guys,
would.
I'm here just to kick
I don't
your
think he
ass.
would.
No, he wouldn't.
But he could.
He's a patriot.
Some people maybe.
Some people might.
No, some people. Never mind. Total trouble if I say that. Someone's going to shut up.
Okay.
Let's do the chat box next, okay? On 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home. Happy 4th.
An eagle fly.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Happiness ain't out of reach.
Vic and Ken. Vic brings the thunder. Ken steals the thunder. Ken, Thunder Stealer. The Vic Porcelli Show on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
An eagle fly.
News Talk STL. Always streaming on your smart speaker, our mobile app, or newstalkstl.com.
Looking to celebrate the 4th of July with a bang? Then look no further than Powder Monkey Fireworks in Walden Springs. We've got bottle rockets, fountains, cakes, mortars. Our selection is endless with low prices and no gimmicks. We will not be undersold. Our friendly, knowledgeable staff will help you choose the perfect fireworks to make your holiday unforgettable. You'll go bananas at Powder Monkey. Don't want to fight the crowds? Order online at powdermonkeyfireworks.com. Powder Monkey Fireworks in Walden Spring.
Hey, Tony Colombo here with Tim Jones for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway, the #1 home selling team in the St. Louis area. And I can say that from firsthand experience. My wife and I were blown away from the results that we saw from working with Rodney and Jen, from selling our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible to finding our family's perfect new home. They over-delivered every step of the way. And right now, it's still very much a seller's market. So, Tim, for folks that have been thinking about selling their home, it's a perfect time to call the Wallners.
That's right, Tony. And don't forget, they're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois. So no matter where you are in the metro area, you can put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. The Wallners' experience and work ethic, second to none. And of course, the numbers speak for themselves. The Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Right now, they're working with so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colony.
Sweet, I'll bring my 500 cousins. This'll be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Let's party! Wait, oh, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic right and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
They don't know what the they're doing.
You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL.
It's true. We don't know what the
right
we're doing. We're just doing it.
We're just doing it.
All right, it's chat box time.
Is it okay if we just do it, though? It's okay, right?
What?
Just do it.
Do what?
Whatever.
Is this from a Rocky movie?
Yes.
When he fights the Russian, I think.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Living in America.
James Brown, step back, kiss myself.
Kiss myself.
I would like to propose to the committee the segment. All in favor. Comments on the app.
Yeah.
Isn't transporting for prostitution the same as human trafficking? Julie asks. Did he?
Yeah. Did he?
I was just going to say, don't do the Diddy joke. That's why I wanted the ping pong ball, I think.
Did I?
Yeah.
Did I?
Shut up. God. Let's go. Let's move. Rumble first. Barely Biggs. That's Barry. He says, #1, Congress sucks. There's two announcements. #1 is in first, and Congress sucks. Good morning, all you freedom-fighting patriot Vic Heads. Wish my brothers and sisters. I wish I get a 4-day weekend. I hate that people say Happy 4th of July. It's Happy Independence Day. Freedom at last. Free at last. Good God Almighty. Free at last. Sorry, that was my opinionating at the end there.
Do I hear your phone still?
Oh, jeez. You see how he's up my ass, everybody? You see? Never leaves me alone. Okay, thanks, Ken. Thirdest on the day before the 40th, the real No King's Day. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. No fair election.
No peace.
No fair tariffs.
Nope.
Great jobs report. President, great jobs report, Trump.
No, it's failing.
I love this version of President Trump and the wrongfully locked up Pledge of Allegiance and them singing the national anthem.
Yeah, it was split up a different way, but I had to put him all together and then have them close it. It was
great decision. Great decision, Ken. The only thing that disappoints me about that is the reverb is so good that he really could have said, Derek Jeter, #2. When asked what is a Semite, AI says a Semite is a member of a group of peoples who speak Semitic languages, including Arabic, Hebrew, and others, and traditionally refers to Jews and Arabs.
And that backs up even more why we want it to be known as Jew hater.
That's it. No anti-Semitism. That's a bunch of crap. The term originates from the Shem, one of the sons of Noah in the Bible, but it's used as a racial category and is now considered obsolete. So, he says, this is all 101 straight up. If it's obsolete, why is anti-Semitism, Jew hating, even a thing? Because they're Jew haters. Got it right there. Sorry, right. I jumped the gun. Yep. Congress getting something done is akin to a sloth running across the Autobahn at rush hour. Yeah, we don't move too fast. I asked a Jewish acquaintance of mine how he could be a liberal. This is great, right? Let me read it again. I asked a Jewish acquaintance of mine how she could be a liberal. She was flaming leftist. She would not answer.
Well, I'd love to get an answer. I would love to talk to someone. If you're a left-leaning Jew, call us, please, because 912-1019, 314-912-1019. We would love to ask you this question and talk with you about it.
If you're American and you're a Jew and you hate Trump, he'll help you anyway.
Yeah.
He'll protect you anyway. Just so you know.
And just so you know, he's the only protection you have.
Yeah. She was a hardcore leftist, yeah, I'll bet. When you get in the face of a lib turd and they actually listen to your facts and figures, their eyes glaze over, or if they do understand you, they get mad and start name calling. Always start name calling the left, always.
And then you've won. And
wait, Ken, you're still on Wastebook? Try harder, bro. Do better. Just kidding. He's just kidding. He said just kidding.
No, I know.
Sort of. He said sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
He also says Keb Mo is awesome. Keb Mo is awesome.
Yeah.
Raskin and Jeffries are both as beneficial as broken used condoms. Damn, those are some insufferable. I can't say the next word.
Well, here let's analyze that for just a second, Vic. If you're a liar in regular life, if you're known to be a liar, okay, if you go into a family event and everybody's like, well, don't listen to what he says, he's a big liar,
right,
you know.
Right.
That's like a terrible badge to have on you,
right?
And so you go through your life like that. With these guys, they don't care. They'll lie. They lie right through everything, but yet it's like, oh, that's a nice badge of honor for you, Democrat.
Well, the jobs report. There are leftists on Facebook saying that the jobs report was not good.
Right.
That's just a straight up lie. But guess what? They're protected by the First Amendment.
And speaking of the jobs report, you mentioned that there were less government jobs.
Yes. Minus 7,000 government jobs. Screw 'em.
Hello. That's a bonus, guys.
101 is asking Duke, do you have to work tomorrow? What is this? Your little social calendar in my chat box here? It's okay. Yeah. Leftists intentionally lie by omission, Vic. All right, you have to yell at me. Nancy P is a drinker. Oh, you might want to put Nancy Pelosi in our...
Okay, well...
And we got the trio of drunks up there.
I'll work on that.
Ask Snake Lucas, who was the Republican politician that wanted to do away with the Planned Parenthood cuts? Are we supposed to know the answer to that question?
No, but I'd like to find out. Okay.
You should try the new Taj Mo album, Room on the Porch, Taj Mahal and Keb Mo. It's nice. I got to interview Taj Mahal at the radio station I worked at in New Jersey. And, oh boy, Ricky, I don't remember his name, but he was there all week. He was the guest host with me all week. Ricky Medlock did the show with me all week, and he just left his guitar in the studio. And Taj Mahal came in one morning. He was like, whose guitar is this? I said, that's Ricky Medlock. I wonder if he'll sell it to me. That's kind of fun. RFK should test those 2-week-old cookies for preservatives. Ken? Just saying. No, I'm not saying. I don't care. Just get them to the president. Just get the cookies to the president.
Yeah, no. What he was saying was, and we're talking about like a total of about a week or so, and they don't have preservatives in them like that. They're individually wrapped in containers. That's why they're saving a little longer.
Ed Stoit says, Deli Day, pastrami day. Boy, I haven't had a good pastrami sandwich with mustard on my bread in a long time.
Me either. That's a good idea.
Hakeem Alugi is an idiot. Hakeem Alugi. He's always so dramatic in his speaking, pausing, etc. It makes sense if their intention is to wreck the country. All people get my respect until they earn my disrespect. Hi, Vic and Ken. Hello, Mike. How are you? It's Friday on a Thursday. Happy birthday. It's Thursday. Whoosh, 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 triple whoosh Thursday. Vic and Ken, the goats of not knowing what they're doing. The hell?
That's okay.
Vic and Ken, the goats of not knowing what the
Trump.
They don't know. Okay. Sorry. I got all offended there. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button, everybody. Okay. Hit the like button. Subscribe to our stuff. Share our stuff. Get our podcast that Ken puts together for you every day. You really be helping us out. Early chat box. Yes, it is. Oh my God. These people keep score on what time the chat box is. Happy Independence Day, you freedom fighting Vic Heads. Lastest. I don't know what that means. Okay. Over to Facebook we go. Okay.
So the usual suspects in the Senate, Republicans voted against defunding Planned Parenthood, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski.
Jeez. Good morning, Patriots. Vic Heads and Thunder Stealer. Wishing everyone a happy and safe and wonderful Independence Day. Thank you, Allison. Barb says GMFFVH. Hope you have a great 4th of July. Vic and Ken, your show also has an anniversary coming up this month. I've listened to you from the start.
Oh, thank you.
Barb,
We love that. And thank you so much for doing it. We really appreciate having us along with you.
I'm a Zionist and believe Jew haters should be charged with hate crimes. We're with you. Good morning, my favorite patriotic Vic Heads. Amy says that we have to outlaw Sharia law in America. We have to not even make sure that not even gets close to being any kind of law in this country.
Yes.
Good morning, News Talk STL fam. My DELI day is now complete here in Kebmo. How about that, Ken? You made Dave Stouffer's day.
Oh, thanks, Dave.
Cutting the illegal aliens out of Medicaid and unqualified people. Good morning, freedom fighters. Oh, my God, Ken, I'm sorry, I'm going fast. It's funny, a cookie stealer is a lowlife in Democrats' eyes, but not the lowlife Democrats that open our borders to illegal alien murders, rapists, drug dealers, human trafficking, and foreign gangs. You better keep our cookies away from any illegal aliens. For God's
big
sakes.
time, yes.
I got to attend one of those shows at Mississippi Nights with Sonia Dada. Absolutely incredible.
Who said that? That's
Dave.
Wow,
Surfer.
okay.
Happy Independence Day. It's even better because we're free of the Biden regime. Everybody have a safe and happy holiday. Make some good memories. Have lots of fun. Remember your prayers for our great country and President Donald John Grover Cleveland Trump.
And this is my favorite time of year, man. I love this holiday. We're going to have a party in my backyard. And you know what? If it's okay, I'm going to post some pictures, I think.
What do you mean if it's okay?
Well, real time. I'm just going to start posting.
Of course.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. I hope you do too. I really do.
Thanks for all the comments. We appreciate it. So today is Thursday, but it's kind of like a Friday.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we're going to do the Wheel of Audio clips.
Friday! But it's Thursday.
But it's okay. It's okay.
It's Thursday!
Please don't do that again.
I might.
No.
I may do it again.
Only Tim can do that.
I know.
So Wheel of Audio Clips is my point. Long way to get around to the Wheel of Audio Clips is next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home. Step back. Kiss myself.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at NewstalkSTL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
We're not going to Disney World or any other world.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Whoosh.
News Talk STL.
Reed's Rockets in Wright City has your fireworks. Try the Max 800 shot for a 30-minute show. Want the ultimate American celebration? Get This Is America with over 100 gigantic color bursts. Family owned and operated, Reed's caters for families with the biggest kid selection. Spend $100 or more and get a kids assortment free. Reed's Rockets, 425 West Service Road North in Wright City. Take I-70 exit 199 and look for the big red and white striped tent. Open through July 10th. ReedsRockets.com.
Reed's Rockets in Wright City has your fireworks. Try the Max 800 shot for a 30-minute show. Want the ultimate American celebration? Get This Is America with over 100 gigantic color bursts. Family owned and operated, Reed's caters for families with the biggest kid selection. Spend $100 or more and get a kids assortment free. Reed's Rockets, 425 West Service Road North in Wright City. Take I-70 exit 199 and look for the big red and white striped tent. Open through July 10th. ReedsRockets.com.
Attention off-road enthusiasts. Iron Bear Customs has the strongest bumpers on the planet. Plus, brush guards, lift kits, and custom cages for all vehicles. Visit ironbearcustoms.com and mention NewstalkSTL for 10% off. Iron Bear Customs, built tough for the toughest terrain.
Discover Patriot Powder Coating, your family-owned specialist in Pacific. From small jobs to big projects, we got you covered. Visit our showroom or call 636-551-0377. Mention NewstalkSTL for 10% off.
Tony Colombo here for the Farmers Co-op Old Town Country Store in Old Town St. Peters, where they have a huge selection of products and services for your yard and home, including a full line of lawn and garden products, a full line of products for animal care, and that includes anything from livestock to the family dog or cat. They'll fill any size propane tank for about half the price of a new one, and so much more. Visit them in St. Peters on 2nd Street, right behind the QT at 70 and Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, and check out all their products and services at oldtowncountrystore.com.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Be cool, honey bunny. Be cool.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Well done, Kenneth James Williams.
Thanks, Victor Alex Porcelli.
Can I do one more chat box comment?
Yeah.
I've never heard, unless I missed it, but this one says from Karen Haig Berberich, and she says, "How you doing?"
Oh, well, that calls for
something. A little extra welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Karen, how you doing? All right, back to business. Today's Thursday. Feels like a Friday.
Right.
So we take all the audio clips from the week, put them on this great big wheel, and we call it
Wheel of Audio Clips!
It's America's favorite game show, The Wheel of Audio Clips. Here's the host of Wheel of Audio Clips, Vic Porcelli.
Thank you, Jim Moffa, very much. Studio audience, thanks for coming out. Wow, Ken. They all have their signs. We love Ken. Vic sucks. Replace him with Nick Schroer. I don't like that sign too much. Nick and Ken. Whatever with you two, you know? Whatever. All right, so all the clips are up on the big wheel. We spin the wheel wherever it stops. That's what we play, whether it's good or bad, or we like them or we hate them. Ken, spin that big old wheel, buddy. Let's get rolling on the wheel of audio clips. Okay. We should have time for all this stuff, I think. And maybe even a minute or so at the end to do something nice and patriotic.
Yeah.
Okay. I love when this happens. I love when CNN broadcasts to their dozens of listeners, Ken.
Tens, I tell you.
So remember again, the experts, the Facebook experts that said tariffs are so stupid. Blah, 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 blah. Well, look what CNBC had to say.
Look how much we've been collecting.
in revenues. And I did this in part because Wilfred's here and he can talk about the
Wilfred's
UK
here.
trade deal. But just this is the monthly numbers. And they have gone up a lot. June is actually set for another big increase of $27 billion. That is money coming into U.S. coffers from tariffs. We are collecting a lot of revenue. So far, guys, $121 billion has flowed into the U.S. government since the start of the fiscal year. It's still a tiny portion of the overall revenues that the U.S. government gets, but it's increasingly a lot, especially we haven't seen it in terms of the consumer paying off higher inflation.
All right, so I'm sorry I made a mistake there. I thought it was CNN, CNBC. But today they're having a CNBC, CNN, MSNBC are having a big let's jump off the bridge party. They're all going to jump off the bridge.
Right. And the trajectory of this is really what is important here. The tariffs were getting increasingly more money.
I hate to be a complete ass about things, but we were right from the beginning, you and me.
Right.
About tariffs. Because I looked it up. I'm not an expert on tariffs. I'm not an expert on revenue, God knows. But I looked it up, and prior to 1913, there were no income tax in this country. None.
Right.
Zero. And everything America ran on tariffs.
Yeah.
So how different could the tariffs be then than now? Tariff's a tariff.
And at the very beginning of this, and people were saying, oh, it's just not going to work. I told you, in full disclosure, Stifel's my representative for financial purposes. And I talked with my guy, and he said, if you want to, I'm thinking that we're going to get higher, a lot higher. And I said, let's go. And so I put my money where my mouth is. I think everybody should. I think it's going to be an amazing time, the golden era of the United States.
And people who have Trump derangement syndrome, I really suggest you get some help.
Just stop.
I'm sure there's a psychiatrist or psychologist or somebody, therapist you can sit down with and talk about your TDS because it's ruining your life.
And sit down, when you sit down with the therapist, say, I have TDS. Say it like you're an alcoholic. I have TDS. And then they'll help you.
Oh, Ken doesn't have TDS.
No, I don't.
All right, spin the wheel. Okay. We're just out,
We're helping.
We're here to help. All right, boy, it feels like a Friday now, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah.
All right. Now, this is definitely CNN, and there are dozens of listeners.
Tens, I tell you.
All right, let's hear it first, and then we'll comment on it. I think Ken and I disagree on this, but it's all for the greater good. Jamie Raskin and CBS.
No taxes on tips, which is part of this bill for working people who work on a tipped wage. Do you support that?
I haven't looked seriously at it because I haven't thought they were serious about it.
So here's a dichotomy for you. Got to be one or the other.
Yeah.
He didn't read it because he doesn't give a damn.
Right.
Or he knows no taxes on tips are good, but then he can't agree with President Trump, right? And then his constituents will say, what are you doing with Trump? But I'm sure there are plenty of people. He's Maryland? Is he Maryland or Virginia?
I don't know. I didn't read it.
I'm sure. My point is there's plenty of people doing gig work, waitering, serving, shipped, Instacart, Uber, Lyft, all that stuff. These people, all the money they make is right from tips and your tax on it.
Yeah, but he doesn't care. They're just his constituents, Vic.
Constituents.
Constituents.
That's so hard to do.
It was tough.
All right, let's go. Oh, boy. Schmitten. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, Clay Travis. He was on with Jesse Waters talking about a certain Supreme Court justice.
Part of Ketanji Brown Jackson's argument was that it required too much boring legalese to analyze the law, and it was a mind-numbingly technical query. I practiced law for a few years.
Yeah.
That's what being a lawyer is, all right? So if you're a judge and you're upset because there's too much legalese and there's too much mind-numbingly technical query, maybe find another job because the Supreme Court justice's law of the land is enmeshed in that every single day. And frankly, I have never seen a analysis of a dissent like this.
So it's good to see that we're not the only ones who make fun of Ketanji Jackson Brown.
Oh, no. Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Oh. Ketanji, are you sure? Because I thought it was Ketanji Jackson Brown.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think you're right. I think it's Ketanji Brown Jackson, not Ketanji Jackson. Oh, that's enough. I'm sorry, we don't get to do that. When she first appeared as the Supreme Court Justice nominee,
who?
Ketanji Jackson Brown. I couldn't get enough of that. I swear to God, we did it like 100 times a day to the point where people, to the people like, please stop. All right, so we can't do that anymore today.
No,
just today. So what about spinning the wheel again? All I got to do is pay attention, and the show just runs. Great. He's still talking. Hakeem Jeffries.
I wonder if he mentioned extreme MAGA people. Extreme radical MAGA.
Of course he did. So meanwhile, the wheel landed on Zohran Mamdani. This is him in his own words at a Jamaica Muslim center. I got to be honest, I'm a little ignorant. I had no idea there was a Jamaica Muslim center. There's Muslim Jamaicans,
I guess.
I mean, they got everything. They got the dope. They're smoking the dope. I mean, what could be better?
But they're infiltrating
on their own
from
island,
the inside out. That's what's happening.
This has to be another generation then, or something.
I don't know.
Or somebody who was integrated into the Muslim. Well, anyway, this is Zohran
Mamdani.
Yeah.
Who refuse to acknowledge this genocide. When I get to 3, I want you to say ceasefire now. 1, 2, 3. Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire!
They're saying ceasefire now, but these
are
ceasefire,
separate. Okay.
Yeah, these are separate parts of this particular speech.
Yep.
I want to ask you one final thing, to join me in a chant. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. Eid Mubarak.
Possibly the future mayor of New York.
It's unbelievable.
I know.
He's a Jew hater, everybody. I don't care what anybody on the left, all those experts on Facebook or X or anywhere you are in person, if they say anything about this guy, he is nothing but a Jew hater.
He himself, he said, "No, I'm going to help the Jews
in a city that's full of Jews."
Yeah. Well, that's the only reason why he's saying it, because he knows he can't win unless he says that.
Says what?
Says that he's going to help the Jews. You just heard his voice saying what he said. That means he's against the Jews.
Oh yeah.
Okay. He's a Jew hater.
Yeah.
But yet he's saying, when he has interviews right now, running for mayor of New York, he's saying, "No, I'm going to help the Jewish population."
Ken, do you know where that is? When that was? I mean,
no.
Recent.
He looked recent. It looked recent. Yeah, he didn't look like he was much younger.
So he's a Jew hater. Don't be fooled, you Jewish people.
Oh, he might even say, "Oh, I've changed." No. Sorry.
I don't know what the hell's happened to this country. I just don't know. Let's do one more, I guess. Guys, spin the wheel. All righty then. Something good. Oh, yeah, this is actually very good. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how Scott Jennings ended up on CNN, but what a blessing. What an absolute blessing that he is. And this is him telling Carrie Champion of CNN Why don't you watch the news before you comment on it?
Jobs not done. A foreign minister from Rwanda has told CNN, he said he's committed to supporting this ongoing negotiation, but warned that ending the conflict will depend on political will and the good faith. And he doesn't know if that is true, referring to the DRC's government. It's not done. It's not done.
You didn't watch the news yesterday. They literally announced it in the Oval Office.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is indeed a historical day. Because it's the signing of a peace agreement between Congo and Rwanda to end a conflict that has been going on for 30 years.
So what happened there is she was saying, well, you have to, they didn't agree on it. And then it clipped to him saying, yes, we do have an agreement.
I don't know. How do you get a job at CNN? I don't know. All right, that's all the time we have for the Wheel of Audio Clips. This is Vic Porcelli saying, help control the liberal population. Have your liberals spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody. You don't want to hear about, the local liberal had a litter of new libs.
Oh, no.
Right? We don't want that. So have your liberal spayed or neutered. I would just like to say before we leave that alligator Alcatraz is not a concentration camp. I would also like to say for the experts, all the law experts on Facebook that said, if you put people in prison with no due process, that's a concentration camp. My question is, when does due process begin? I think it begins at the trial.
Of which none of the J6 people ever had it. So if you're going to make comparisons, you better start with that.
Right. So when you say that, no, they're not ready for their due process yet. When you get arrested and you're charged with something, you're put in a jail cell and you wait your turn till you come to trial.
Right.
So I don't want to hear it.
No,
I'm
I don't
done.
either. No,
I'm done.
And can I ask you, can we try the fireworks thing again?
Oh, we have to practice, Ken. Yeah. Ooh. Those were good ones.
Ooh.
I wonder who started that. I'll bet it was some Italian from New Jersey. I guarantee it. Ooh. So one final thing from our Facebook, our Rumble chat box. DLW says, Happy No King's Day, Nick Heads. What the hell did you guys do? What did you do? Listen, thanks for having the record player on at night. Listen to us this morning.
Sure. You have the record player on at night.
Oh, yeah, Nick and Ken, it was so much fun. Let's put Vic in front of firing squad.
Happy Independence Day, Vic Heads.
Happy No King's Day.
There you go.
What'd you say?
Vic Heads.
Right, see you Monday.
Sooner or later I'll be clocking in again. Someday I'll be able to forget my working day. Life will be grim because the ship is coming in. Everything will go my way and I won't ever see it on the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. My working week's so tough, I think I've had enough until the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Hey guys, I don't know about you, but I love learning about national and international issues here on News Talk STL. But do you know what's going on in your neck of the woods, your city, your county, and its politics? If you live in Jefferson County and want to know more about what's happening locally, join Speaker Tim Jones and me, Councilman Billy Crow, as we dive into all things Jefferson County on Sundays at high noon on Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
On News Talk STL.
Report cards are a good way to show how well your kids are doing in class and where they might need improvement. We at the Show Me Institute believe schools should get grades too, so parents can see how their child's school compares to others. That's why we came up with the Missouri School Rankings Project. Click on the website moschoolrankings.org, and it's all there. Rankings and letter grades for all the schools in Missouri. The rankings are based on categories such as student performance in English language arts and math, ACT scores, and graduation rates. Then we take the rankings and come up with a grade point average, just like your child has. Each school and district has a grade, and the website is easy to use. And now we've added spending data for every district, so parents, taxpayers, and policymakers can see where the money is going. Don't you want to know how your child's school stacks up? Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Or from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Republican leaders in the House are looking toward a Wednesday vote on President Trump's tax and spending cuts package, determined to seize momentum from a hard-fought vote in the Senate, while essentially daring members to defy their party's leader and vote against it. Speaking with reporters, House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's been speaking with GOP colleagues who have concerns about the bill.
We are working through everybody's issues and making sure that we can secure this vote. I feel very positive about the progress. We've had lots of great conversations. I've met with individuals and groups all day long, as has the president, who's fully engaged as well, trying to convince everybody this is the very best product that we can produce.
Meanwhile, on the floor of the House, Democratic Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is continuing with his filibuster against the bill. Also at townhall.com, 7 people missing after an explosion at a California fireworks warehouse.
That explosion Tuesday, captured by Hudson Sheets, was at a fireworks warehouse in Northern California's Yolo County. The ensuing fire setting off more fireworks and eventually collapsing the building. The fire chief in Esparto says 2 people injured received medical care, but 7 people are reported missing. One woman telling the Sacramento Bee her boyfriend and 2 of his brothers are among them, and it was his first day on the job at the warehouse. The cause is under investigation. I'm Ben Thomas.
Fewer Americans applying for unemployment benefits last week as layoffs in the U.S. remain low, despite uncertainty about how tariffs will impact the economy. The Labor Department reports that claims fell by 4,000 to 233,000. On Wall Street, the Dow up 344 points, the NASDAQ adding 200. More at townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You work hard, you build wisely, your home has become one of your greatest assets. If you're staying put this summer, this might be the perfect time to put that equity to work, whether it's funding a second home, helping your kids get their start, or simply creating more margin in your financial life. Mike and Brian at Fellowship Home Loans are the only ones I trust to guide you through it. They've done loans for my family. They tailor every loan to fit your goals. Fellowship is a direct lender and operates with your best interest in mind. If you're looking to access your equity through a refi or exploring a HELOC for some cash this summer for a second property, or maybe tackle those updates you've been putting off, start with people you trust, people I trust. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.